You're listening to Ernestly Speaking, the only weekly podcast that covers friends, foes, and anything that goes. And now, for your badass host, Ernest Owens. And we're back for another episode of Ernestly Speaking with your host, Ernest Owens, myself. Well, it has been quite the week, as we all know. I mean, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, but small business Saturday, Giving Tuesday coming up. You know, just translation, take my money season. But for good reasons. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm in the holiday spirit, I must say. So much went down this week, and so much to catch up on. So, I mean, for starters, I have to say I'm super excited. I have finished my audio recording of my book, The Case for Cancel Culture, which drops on Tuesday, February 21st, 2023. We are less than 90 days away, less than 3 months away. It's down to the final 3 months. Like we're going through it. You know, this reminds me almost like one of my fans had messaged me and said that this reminds them of like when we were doing a countdown for my wedding, which was last year. And it seems like every season there's always a countdown to something. I didn't realize that until recently. I was like, yeah, that's true. It's always something, some big, excitement. But season 4 is when the book will be out. So, we're, wrapping up season 3 this year. Goodness, 3 seasons. Season 1 was long as hell. It was like a whole year. But now, as you all know, I break up my seasons, 2 seasons a year. So the spring, the spring season, and then of course the fall, winter. So that's like how I break it up. But it's been great. I mean, I've been consistently doing this podcast, almost every week for nearly 2 years. We've been going through it together. But yes. Season 4 will, of course, be in January. I like to do my little winter break, and then we get back into motion. But yes, this is episode 20 of season 3. We're committed over here. Okay. We're like Love and Hip Hop. Like we don't ever miss a beat. Every week every Monday there'll be something, right? Like an episode of Love and Hip Hop you can expect in some variation, and an episode of Ernestly Speaking. So yeah, it's been everything. But yes, the audio book is done. I did it, guys. I did it. We did it, Joe. Not Joe Biden. But it is it's done. So it was supposed to be 4 days, and as you all remember from the last episode, I was doing so well, we actually got the book done in 3 days. It was not this past Friday, but the previous Friday was the first day, and then we took that break, and then last Monday was day 2. And I did so well in day 2 that day 3 was that Tuesday right before Thanksgiving. And we finished it. We wrapped it up that Tuesday. We didn't need to stay for Wednesday. And this was the best time in my schedule because all of my students, of course, are done for Thanksgiving break. So this week is my final week of teaching this semester in person. My class don't have any finals, thank goodness. They had a final project, but it wasn't like a final exam or anything. So once I leave Cheney University, this Wednesday, I think I might go to the holiday party. But after that, I'm done for the semester. I'm a free man. And I'm taking a sabbatical next semester, because this book, they're like, oh, we want you to come back. I'm like, I would love to come back, but I know myself, and, don't you, my grandma used to say, don't you open that door until you close the other one. I have to make sure this book roll out and the tour, did I say tour? Things that are coming up. That needs to be my full priority in addition to, my second term as president of PBJ. And so that's going to be a brand new kickoff and all of that. So I need to say no to some things at the moment and say yes to some new things. And being a full-time author, the birth of my book, I need to give that my undivided attention. So when I was looking at my schedule of things, I was like, okay, something has to to move to make room for something else. Sometimes people want to do it all. I believe you can do it all. You just can't do it all at once. That's true. Listen. I'm never going to tell somebody they can't do everything they want to do. No, you can do everything you want to do. You just can't do it all at once. Okay, because that's when things get a little bit chaotic. Like Beyonce, love her down, but there was at one point in time where she was trying to do everything all at once, like the movie, and it was just not happening. You cannot act and design fashion, do choreography, world tours all at the same time. Some of that stuff was great and some of that stuff was not. It is what it is. I look at Rihanna. Use Rihanna for an example. Rihanna said, look, I want to be one of the top fashion designers. I want to be a real big, mogul in my fashion makeup. She had to put music aside. She made the music sit down so the stuff could be great. Okay, y'all wasn't saying that about House of Darion when Beyonce was doing music and everything else. I'm just saying, everybody has to figure out, have to figure out what they want to prioritize. Look at Queen Latifah. She said she wanted to be an actress. She wanted to put her energy in her acting. The music took a backseat. Look, we're all the better for it, right? Even Will Smith, Will Smith, took his breaks in between. Now he's taking a longer break, unfortunately. But it is what it is. But when you try to do everything, it don't work. I'll give you an example of someone who tries to do everything, still trying to do everything, and it's not working. J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, no one wants this other album. She's got this Here I Am or There I Am or whatever, 20 years later, it's coming out in January. Nobody wants this album, sis. Nobody wants this album. Who's asking for more J-Lo music? Who's asking for more J-Lo music? I don't even think people are asking for more J-Lo movies, but music is definitely out of the question. But when you're that rich and you've been in the game that long, you could just throw out albums like they throw out masks, at places. Get a free mask. It's just get a free J-Lo album. Like no one was asking for it, but that's just what it is. So it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, but. All I'm saying is that I am not going to be the J-Lo of the industry in my industry. I'm not going to do it. I'm going. Listen, Professor Owens will be back, but Professor Owens will not be back spring of 2023 because Professor Owens got to put out a book. So yes, that's what I had to tell my students. I really do cherish them. This was a good group. This was a very good group. They were all freshmen. We did freshman seminar. I was really happy with this group this year. All of my students, I feel like, but it's growing on me. So really, really like them, and this week will be my final week of teaching this semester. So I'm gearing up for that because December is gonna be here. Like we're about to be in December. But December's here pretty much. I mean, we're here. It's like wow, like the year just went woo 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 woo, it just went. Like I'm trying to figure out, did we do September? Did September happen? Oh yeah, I went to that whack ass wedding. Anyway, but outside of that, October, I do remember October. I definitely remember October because October was busting my chops, getting ready. 131, of course, 1 year anniversary. All of that was happening in October. Just a lot of October surprises. The midterm election, gearing up for that. So I remember October very well. August, I don't think. August was the move. Getting ready to move to my new spot. That was all August. July, July and June just ran together for me mentally. I just run June and July together. It was Jamarcus's birthday. My friend had my homegirl we went to New York. My homegirl had a bad experience at some, I guess, shower or something that I don't even want to call it a shower. But anyway, it was something she went to. I remember November clearly because midterms, I mean, November was not forgettable, but it's just some months kind of ran through this year. I just put them all together. But there were definitely some standout months, of course. October is always a standout month. And I mean, I went to Vegas at the ABJ convention, but it just seemed like this year just went by really fast. And it's going by fast when you start seeing those end of the year lists, like best music of the year. I'm like, wait, I guess we're getting close to that. Now, my finale is always the best of, worst of the show of the year for me. I got to start getting my list ready because I guess nothing's else coming out. I mean, November was it, right? Well, I guess it was, right? I mean, who came out with something? What did that Drake 21 Savage album? Nas's album was great. Love me some Nas. Well, love his album. He has his issues, but we do like King's Disease. King's Disease, all of his recent albums. That man is getting he just looks good. His music is good. He's like wine. He's like the wine of hip hop. He looks better with time and his music he's had a nice little album run. I don't know if anybody's been following Nas. I get it. This might be very, very, inner hip hop, but I just really, really like Nas. His music lately has been really hitting. Um, but yes, I enjoyed my audiobook. It was great. I can't, I'm still reeling over the fact that it's done. Like, I don't know how I did that, but it was concentrated. Like, I was in the room in the dark because I didn't want the lights to distract me. I just was in the dark, had my headphones in. I was getting direction by an incredible audio producer slash director. She just understands voice talent. She was incredible. She was directing me through via Zoom, had the headphones in. I was reading. I mean, we had to go back sometimes. Words were, I finally knew how to say cancel on day two because I said enough of it the first day, but the word cancel was whooping my ass because I was like saying like council as in city council. It was like the weirdness of that. But once I started, doing my, vocal warm-ups and all the activities, they had me doing all kind of things with my throat that I didn't think I could do. I'm not going to say pause because I'm gay, but like I will say it was quite fun. It was like all these different things. Like, let me see if I could do. It was like one was like and it was like working your, tongue, making sure your tongue sticks out. And then there was like little ones that you do. Like I still remember those things. I mean, it was just literally less than a week ago, but mentally, I will forever not forget those exercises. And all the voice tea I drink. I drank so much tea, y'all. I had so much pho. I had pho for lunch. I couldn't really eat any heavy solid foods. So when Thanksgiving did come, my body was ready, okay? Because I was having pho and tea those entire days because I was keeping my vocals lubricated. I had to just make sure that nothing was trapped in my teeth. It impacts the way you talk. I know this sounds like common sense, but like every little thing you do with your mouth in between doing a voice, it picks up. Whether it's wear and tear, like you don't want to do. I didn't want to eat. I can eat a sandwich or anything like what's that? Like a cheesesteak or anything because the work on my mouth, the muscles, you don't want them to be overworked in that way. Because the moment you start to speak, the jaw feels it. The way that you pronounce words, enunciate words, even rest, all of that stuff matters. Listen, I understand singers and voice actors, and I have a profound respect for professional singers. If you out here lip singing, like, child, I'm not. But if you're someone who actually goes out and have to speak for long periods of time, decent comedians who are actually, humane comedians, yeah, I definitely think that requires some work and you just can't just get up there and just do whatever. You really have to have endurance and energy. And so it was all about endurance. Like I had to sound excited and in paragraphs, even if I was at that time feeling like tired as hell, I had to say the sentence or the paragraph 5 times just to get it right. It was a process, but it was worth it because so many of you all messaged me, people from the disability community who said to me, hey, thank you for doing an audiobook and doing an audiobook, doing your book. People love people. This audiobook world is different. Like I'm learning so much about the audiobook world, y'all. Like people are like, thank you for, doing the audiobook because so many people either have different types of reading disabilities or some people just, some people can't see or reading, it's someone had said something to me about like this thing where they pick up a book and they have anxiety like reading passages or can't stay focused, like this, not dyslexia, but some people say that, but audiobooks help them with that. And I didn't even realize the investment in audiobook. It wasn't that people are just lazy and don't want to read books anymore. It's just that it provides an experience that makes them gravitate more to the book. And I know this because I just listened to Michelle Obama's book, the Light We Carry, and it is incredible. We'll be talking more about that in a minute, but that book is incredible. And I listened to the audiobook version, and I listened to the audiobook version of Finding Me, by Viola Davis, her autobiography, which is nominated for a Grammy for Best Audio Book Recording, whatnot. She's gonna get her EGOT, y'all. I told y'all all she gotta do is narrate a book. Now Viola Davis gonna get her EGOT. She's gonna win. Will Smith, whose book, his audiobook was incredible, wasn't nominated. We already probably know why. But damn it, that book was good too. That was a really good audiobook. But I studied a lot of audiobooks listening to before I did mine, trying to figure out what my voice was going to sound like, what kind of personality I wanted to have. Different paragraphs, different chapters get different things out of me. So you'll hear my voice and my range and my mode and my attitude and all of that inflection change, which is great. Cadence, all of those things change during this process. But some of y'all said, listen, we knew you could do an audiobook because you do this podcast. This is very true. However, I think what kept me, what was the talent of doing the audiobook, and also I've been doing radio. I was out with my girl Nina. We was at Booker's. My homegirl Nina came through. Y'all know Nina, the one who has the incredible vocals, who sung at my wedding. We've known each other for 12 years, fellow Penn alum. Um, we had got together, and I miss Sam because Samantha, where were you, Samantha? Where were you? But Nina will tell you that there is something coming up at the end of December. You might be in town, you may or may not. But if you can, she'll tell you what it is. If you don't find out, you just text me, I'll text you. Look at me sending love signals. That's my pseudo wife. Samantha Thomas, that's my pseudo wife. Y'all don't understand. We have a whole collection of photos together. We've been doing forever, over a decade. We just match. Just Southern, just cute, just beautiful golden brown skin. We're like two good pieces of like golden fried chicken that you just look at, just like, that looks good, looks so good, I don't want to touch it. That's what we look like together. That's just yes. But she's awesome, and we was missing you, girl. We hung out with one of her friends who's from Atlanta. Had to get together. Booker's was hitting that night. It was like right after Thanksgiving, but I loved it. So we was talking, and it was about books, and she was just saying, like, I've been doing this for years. Like, I remember Ernestly speaking. I was doing it when I was like 18 in a studio called WQHS. And didn't realize that it's the endurance that the podcast do. Because I do this every week for like, 2 hours or whatnot. It's the endurance, I think, that made the process go faster. If you are someone who haven't done audio recording, there's a thing called mic fright that people are talking about, where you're scared to go to the mic because, it's just like, you're just overthinking it. But for me, that's not the case. I just go up to the mic and I do what I need to do. And I'm not saying pause because I'm gay. Take it how you want to take it. But no, I have no problems going up to the mic and speaking. But I enjoyed it. It was great. It was an incredible experience. And they were surprised. They was like, "You're not tired?" No, let's keep going. Let's get this done. Okay, we saving everybody money, energy. Okay, studios are not expensive. Studios cost a lot of money. But I was at the lovely Philly camp, Philadelphia Community Access Media. They hosted me. It felt like love. I didn't have to go all the way to New York, which I was happy about. I was able to be in the studio, having a great time. To myself, I really was focused. I didn't really go through my phone. My homegirl, Amanda, listen, she we're so weird. We message each other through DMs more than we actually text each other. But I think it's because we like to use stories and tea that we get online through the DMs. And I always laugh because if I ever read our DMs, child, it's a monster in there. The Lit Brothers text chat is a monster. I have a couple of group chats that I'm connected in, and some of them I'm like, oh my goodness, if there was ever a leak. I mean, I stand 10 toes down on everything I've said, but oh goodness. But yeah, I had my little lunch break for like 30 minutes, and I would check in the DMs and see what was going on in the world, which was nothing really. I mean, there's always something, but I was just chilling. But no, it was a good time. It was a good time. It was a very good time. Yes, but definitely you all got an audiobook. You could pre-order the audiobook immediately. It's available, the hardback and the pre-order and the audiobook. There are people who've gotten um, samples of it, and I'm super excited about the love that I've gotten so far on the book. And I know I'm talking about the book a lot, but you all know you all love the book. Like I love the book. So I want to talk about it. So big major review came in over the week. Publishers Weekly, which is a really big damn deal. So for people that don't know about Publishers Weekly is pretty much a group of publishers, writers, people from the industry. They're like pretty much an unbiased group because they are anonymous. They read your book, they give you a review within like 4 to 6 weeks. And you don't know who's all read it, but it's a group of them that are professionals that respect the industry, and they read your book and they tell people what they think. And a lot of times this is a good thing. If you get a good review, you could be able to use this to drive, other book critics and interest to the book. And so we sent it to Publishers Weekly. This is my debut book. And I was wondering, what did they think about it? So they told me what they thought about it. And here's the review. I'll read it for you here. Quote, journalist Owens debuts with an incisive defense of cancel culture. Defining cancel culture as the effort to collectively recognize and eradicate problematic behavior, he traces its links to radical protest and boycott movements of the past, including the American Revolution and the Civil Rights Movement. He also analyzes the differences between how progressives and conservatives employ cancel culture. Among others, progressives are much more likely to call out their own, and delves into individual cases, including the cancellations of R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, and other sexual abusers by the hashtag #MeToo movement, and a conservative backlash against the Dixie Chicks for opposing the war in Iraq in 2003. Owens also claims that, quote, glaring double standards exist in conservative as well as progressive circles, noting that R&B singer Chrisette Michele, quote, got canceled for performing at one of Trump's inaugural balls, while Kanye West, who had more nefarious ties to Trump, was treated with more nuance, grace, and empathy, end quote. Some readers may quibble at Owens' conflation of modern-day cancel culture and historical protest movements such as Gandhi's campaign against the British salt tax in India, but his arguments are thought-provoking and well-supported. The result is an invigorating survey of a hot-button political issue. Oh, my goodness. It was, it just melted my heart. They got it. They understood. They understood what my book was about. They really read it. They actually read it. And they understood the point. The book cover, I think, in the title has some people, of course, I guess that were quibbling, trying to figure out what I'm doing here. But they actually took time to read what I wrote and understood my intent and how I'm reframing this. And it felt good. And the review, of course, was a glowing review. They loved it. They really did. They did. Sally Field energy. I really was happy about it. They really, really liked the book. And, listen, I know critics, as a critic myself, I know that, there will be people that will not get it and they will feel how they feel, and it is what it is. But at least they're reading and talking about it. I knew this book was this book was born to disrupt. It's a disruptive book. It's iconoclastic. It was meant to shake the table. It's going to shake the table. It's shaking the table. Some really great people I admire have gotten a chance to really read it and take it in and have given me, their thoughts about it. And it's been just great. People just really appreciate it. It's so fun. And honestly, it's the book that I really feel like I could only have written it myself. I don't know. Someone else could have probably took a stab at it. But like people have talked about cancel culture, but they don't get it. It was the book I was born to write. This was the way I wrote it, how I wrote it. The timing was perfect. You just never know when the time is right. You just have to stay on schedule though. Trust me. One of these days we'll have a talk about the book industry and the behind the scenes, some of it. Not with me, but just other folks. I have to say I'm very gracious for my team. Everybody at PS Literary Agency, my girl Stephanie, Cassidy, everybody who just worked with me with this book has been phenomenal. A lot of women. I've worked with a lot of women. which was great. But I also got some great dudes too, Martin and everyone over there at St. Martin's. But like everyone who I've worked with has been great. My experience has been great. And you just hit your marks and hit your deadlines. And I feel like when you do that, that allows for the rollout to be great. I've had peers in the industry who did not have the best rollouts, and some of that was because their team, it's because maybe they wasn't hitting their deadlines. It's just a variation of reasons that hold people back from doing a super, super, super great rollout versus a rollout that, needs work. And it just depends on the person. And I've talked to a lot of just up and coming authors, and also just vicariously studying, the moves in the business. And I'm just what I do. Like I just take time. Like when I don't know something, I sit and I study it, I learn it, and then I attack. Too many people get a little bit of something and want to jump. I took some time. Like this process from having an idea to write a book to actually writing a book to seeing it get published, this was years in the making. Like I was silently just observing trends, market trends, understand the business for my own self. And of course, getting an agent took it to the next level. But it's a process. And I think some people out here just jump up and be like, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. Listen, easier said than done, my dear. Because there's a lot of people out here who had eyes bigger than their mouths, as we say. I was telling some kids that during Thanksgiving, some of these people out here was getting big old plates and wasn't finishing their food. And we call that down in the South, your eyes are bigger than your mouth, where you want all this food, but you're not eating, you're not finishing it. Some of my friends like that got eyes bigger than their mouth. I ain't gonna call her out. She may have been named previously on this podcast, but she be wanting big portions and be getting hungry, but then she don't be finishing her plate like she's supposed to. But I say all that to say that some people, their eyes might be bigger than their mouths when it comes to writing, or their hands, to be honest, because you got to type. But they'll say, look, I want to write a book because someone threw a book offer. There was many times where people had came to me and said I should write a book, and I was like, but what am I going to write about? And it was like, oh, you should write a memoir. Look, I'm about to listen. I just knew that I did not want to be pigeonholed personally in my career. Everything that I do, I just go for the universal best. I don't like to be categorized and sectioned off in a certain type of success lane. My lane is universal. I want a real book deal. I wanted to get a 6-figure book deal. I wanted to have, the best team, one of the best publishers. I wanted to do the real thing, and I did not want to take any shortcuts. That was just a personal goal of mine. My personal goal. People are like, oh, you can self-publish. No, I don't want to self-publish. I don't think I have to self-publish. I was very stubborn about that many years ago. I was like, if I haven't built the level of capacity or visibility for myself that I could get a book deal, then I need to work on doing that. Because what I'm not going to do is put out anything that isn't at its 18th best. I'm at the point in my career where everything I put out, people are really, you all consume it. A podcast episode, article, everything I do is consumed largely. And so that means that I can't just half-ass it. I can't just put out something that's like, whatever, because it's a reflection of where I'm at and what I do and what I stand for. And so, and this is also for me. Like self-publishing a book isn't the best, production for what I can do. And so that's why I didn't do one. Even with the podcast, everyone was like, oh, you can do a podcast. I'm like, what the hell am I going to talk about? I need to know what I'm doing before I do it. I don't just sign up for anything. I have to, see it out. That maybe, someone said that's a Libra in me. Whatever. Because being a Libra in me has gotten me to where I need to be. But some things do need to have a little bit more fleshing out because you're being committed. Other people, and I think people don't think about that in the book world, but other people their livelihoods depend on your performance, right? When you're writing a book, there's marketing teams, there's editors, there's copy editors, there's agents, there's other people whose livelihood depends upon your performance. And so if you want to get at something like that, you can't just sleep at the wheel. You just can't half-ass it. You have to really come in knowing what you're doing, because what you're doing is impacting other people's experiences. And more directly, you're influencing people's work and careers. And So I thought I took a lot of time to think about that and think about what I wanted to do and what I want to put out there. I didn't want to be typecasted. I think sometimes people see you and say, "Oh, black queer, you're going to write a book of essays about your life, and it's going to be another Moonlight remix." That wasn't my life, first of all. No shade to people who have experiences that are similar to that of Moonlight. That's a real valid thing. But not every black queer person you meet that came from a working class background has that kind of experience. And I sometimes think that there are people in the industry, I'm not going to book journalism industry, that look at certain people and want that kind of work. And you become disingenuous when you exploit aspects of your life to get a check. That's one thing I won't do, and I haven't done. I've told personal experiences and stories when they were my time to tell them. I think too often people are desperate, right? They're desperate. They want so much this level of validation. They want, so many people to, you know, you want that temporary sense of gratification. I see so many people that have pimped out their stories, life stories, experiences for like less than $100. And I'm like, you told that story for that much for Teen Vogue to only pay you $75? Oops. You wrote that essay and told that. So I've been in the business of preserving my experiences in ways that were appropriate, or to me felt right. During the racial uprising, there's been an increase of black people wanting black stories and black experiences, and sometimes to the point of exploitation, where people are really pressed to, tell you something that just want too much. And we call it diversity, equity, inclusion, right? People think that is diversity, equity, inclusion, to be in that space where you can, tell these cool stories. But sometimes, is it diversity, equity, inclusion, or is it diversity, exploitation, and inclusion, right? Is the equity being exchanged for the exploitation? Just putting some deep shit out there. So when I decided to write my book, I knew that it was going to be an adult nonfiction book. I knew that it was going to not be a memoir or biography. I mean, down the road, maybe I might write a memoir. I'm not against that, but I want to do it on my own terms. And I feel like I'm living life right now where things are still happening that needs to completely continue to grow and evolve. The story still needs to be told. But I think in this business, I fought really hard, and I'm happy I had a team that stood by me to write a book about a topic that was not necessarily attached to me by default. Like, this book is a book that, when you look at the cover and the title, people don't necessarily assume a black person wrote it. And it's not to say that that's anything about against me. It's just that when people see it, like, there were people who did not read the book, and I'm just telling you all this, who saw the name, didn't Google the name, and assumed that it was a white person. Some white liberal, whatever. Ernest Owens, I guess, has some racial. Now, I think Ernest Owens is a black name because Ernest is very much so used in the black. But some people, it's an older name. Some people assume differently. They did not assume what they saw was what was going to be behind it. And to me, that's what we should be doing in the literary business. We should be challenging not to typecast writers, right? Like, when you see black and gay and young, why are you assuming I'm going to write about, my identity and, some oppression that hurts me, some memoirs? Why would you assume that I'm going to write about one of the most, you know, high profile topics of our generation right now? Like, that was why I did it. Could I have done any other type of story? Sure. And will I? Maybe down the road. Who knows? I'm open to do different things. But I was like, no, I want to challenge myself. And I also want to challenge the expectations of what people expect from young black writers out there. That we, and I'm not the only one, but that we don't have to always be, pigeonholed in certain genres or writing certain types of books. That we can be up against the biggest ideas. Why does Malcolm Gladwell and Adam Grant and these guys get to write these types of books? Why can they? Why? How come they get to challenge a paradigm shift? Right? Why does the Fortune 500 CEOs get to have thought provoking books that they don't and challenge ideas that they really don't know anything about? Like, why is it's a certain type of author that gets to write those types of books? And I was like, you know what? I want to be that author. Not just because I'm going to prove anything to white people, but because I feel like, damn it, this is an idea I have. And who says that this can't be marketable? Who says that this can't? Maybe I am the expert, and I made myself the expert. And I think about that often, just with everything I've done in my career. Not just this, but just so many different places I've went to where people just thought it was just unimaginable to do it. And I was just like, but this is what I do. And so many of us. But that was heavy on me today. I just thought about that a lot. And as the marketing has increased, I look at there's book talkers, getting hype around and Instagrammer influencers. I've had 2 shout outs by 2 book influencers on social media over the past weekend. It's been a lot. It's been a lot in a good way. Um, of course, Thanksgiving was great, overall. I mean, we was at my mother-in-law's house in Trenton, and it was good. Food was great. Miss Dawn catered. She did her thing. And let me just say, catering, Thanksgiving catered is like thebomb.com because honestly, I guess the older I get, the more I just don't want leftovers. I just don't. We got it catered. We had I always tell people we have to have the rainbow, which is the rainbow of the plate. Turkey, dressing. I don't know what this stuffing stuff is, but dressing. Greens, okay? Collard greens, right? Gotta have that, okay? Yams, baked macaroni and cheese, okay? And of course, that lovely canned cranberry sauce that goes on top of the dressing. I don't care what any people say. I like canned cranberry sauce from Ocean Spray, okay? I like the ridges. I like that I can get the knife, the butter knife, and I can go all around the edges, and then it comes right out. And I cut it in half and then cut it in slices and then I put it on the table and it is heaven. I don't need that mixed shit, that berry shit. I just need the original classic. You know what? You could judge who you want to judge. Some stuff just makes sense, y'all. And y'all don't got to make everything complicated. Now, I get it. Sometimes people want to be extra homemade everything. I'm about that life sometimes too. But let me tell you something about cranberry sauce. It is cranberry sauce. It is cranberry sauce. I don't want no cranberry chutney. I want cranberry sauce. Period. I just had to get my life, y'all. I just had to get it. Love it. It has to be chilled. It does everything. Okay, everything. And what I just had was a staple Thanksgiving dinner. That was delicious. Miss Dawn always does her thing. Details by Miss Dawn. She always slays it. It was everything I need to be. And I went to Friendsgiving the next day with my lawyer. My lawyer had a Friendsgiving at his house. His lovely wife, who's an incredible judge. We all got together with the Gibbs and had a good old time. It was great food, fellowship, and guess what? I didn't have to take any leftovers. I loved it. And then, of course, Sunday supper was this weekend. Amanda and her boyfriend Joe came, and this time they didn't eat before because when you come to my house for dinner, of course I'm going to feed you at dinner time. So they came, and it was everything. So yes, it was phenomenal. Loved it a lot. Yeah, it was great. So much fun. But I we had for Sunday supper this Sunday supper because I know you always ask. So this time it was Mr. Johnson's turn to cook, and he made short rib on polenta with these delicious roasted carrots. He made this braised short rib that was marinated for hours with this creamy Parmesan polenta, and it was these roasted carrots, and we had it with some delicious red Zinfandel. It was incredible. It was a phenomenal time. I got my entire life. It was great dinner, great wine, and watching Ratchet television. We was watching Ratchet Piece Theater. Bobby, I Love You, Purr, the finale. So we got into that. Watched some other programming too. But it was great. It was just great to catch up. And it was a great dinner. Jamarcus was there. My younger brother was there. It was like 6 of us, which the table fit 6 people, so we had 6 people. It was a full house, but it was a great time. Dinner was phenomenal. It was incredible. Loved it. 10/10. Mr. Johnson got that. Now it's my turn next week. Woo, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna make, y'all. I gotta figure her out. I mean, we last week I made a whole salmon, which was delightful. Now I gotta figure out what I gotta do. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna make. What I'm gonna make. It just seems like it gets hard every week because you want to do something that's like bold, but then you also want to like figure out like it's got to be creative, but it also got to be reasonable, right? Functional, something I can actually make. Um, but it's going good. We've done this for the entire year since we moved in our new place, and it's been back to back consistency. So it's gonna be fun, y'all. We're gonna see what's given. December as we kick in. Good times, good times. Um, you know, Black Friday. Let me just get into Black Friday real quick because it's so much tea was going on. Thanksgiving was fabulous. There is this Thanksgiving scandal that I do want to discuss. It is on the top of the docket. But Black Friday was fabulous. Okay, so while I was trying to buy things, which I did, Mr. Johnson's gift I did get during Black Friday, got a great sale on it. We decided with gifts that it's not so much, and I know I sound a little corny. Some of you who've been in the game for a minute, you are like, of course, Ernest, duh. I know, but let me just say this. It's not so much about getting things that people desperately need. It's about getting the things that they really want that they themselves would not spend the money for because it's not that deep, but it would be nice. That's the kind of gifts we're at now. In the past, I would get things based on necessity, which is kind of still cool, but it's like the thing that's like, you don't need this per se, but this is a convenience. So I know what he's wanting. I know what he wants. I got it. He doesn't think I'm going to get it because it is a little like, do you need this? But he doesn't, but he wants it, and it would make things convenient for him. And it's something specifically for him that I may or may not use. Maybe I'll play with it a little bit, but it's really for him. So I got that out the way. But I saw a sale on Kiehl's. And you all know I've been falling in love with Kiehl's skin products. I know. They're great. They had a really great 50% off Black Friday sale. And those products at Kiehl's, y'all, if y'all are really Kiehl's buyers, they're pricey. But they're great quality. I mean, they have the best eye cream. They got the best facial wash. I mean, they have some really good shit. And so I'm like transitioning from my current skincare regimen to Kiehl's because I really love how Kiehl's, I'm really feeling their products. They have some great products. And I have been loving some of the kits I've received from them and things. So I am transitioning to a Kiehl's skincare regimen. It's going to take about 3 months because the products I bought, what I'm doing is I'm going to use them, not going to rush use them because some people just drop products and then no, I don't do that over here. I'm going to finish out my supply of what I've been using, which has been this like, I've been on this hydraulic acid thing with Neutrogena. Love Neutrogena products, but as we get into the winter, I need something a little bit more rich, a little bit more dense. And so this is great for the Neutrogena products I did receive for the hydro, boost, which is what I was using for the whole summer and spring. I mean, I must say, it definitely done wonders for the skin. I'm now ready to get into more mature, stronger products, but also really intensive care. So I'm really into this Kiehl's line of products. They have a midnight recovery line that I'm going to start using at night. I'm going to do this day and night regimen. Normally I haven't done that before, but I want to try it. Kiehl's got this midnight recovery product line that is incredible. And I really do like their just general products. And they have products for men. Good skincare products for men is hard to find in the industry. So I'm excited. I'm going to try it out. They had a really great Black Friday deal and got some really great discount codes and really, really am excited. I mean, they got hand cream, foot cream. I'm a sucker for hand cream. Get into these hands. Anybody who's ever touched my hands, know. Okay, touch the skin, she said. These hands are just, good hand cream is important. So, love that. And of course, I got caught up with Nina. Went to see a lot of plays. I've been going to a lot of plays lately, y'all, musicals and all. George let me be his plus one to go see Tina the Musical in Philly, which you all know I love Tina the Musical on Broadway. And Tina Turner's birthday was this past weekend, so they had a really great sale at the Kimmel. But we went early this week, opening night. Okay, it's at the Kimmel Cultural Campus. I'm not used to saying this. Kimmel Cultural Campus. I want to say, what is that? Why won't you just call it the Kimmel Center? I grew up with the Kimmel Center. It's just the Kimmel Center. Just like they trying to call it the Fashion District. Y'all know what it is. It's the gallery, okay? It's the gallery. It's the gallery. I don't even sound right saying Fashion District. It's the gallery, okay? That's what it is. It's the gallery. And Kimmel Center is the Kimmel Center. Sorry, I know y'all want to call it all this fancy cultural. Y'all, it's the Kimmel Center, okay? So, saw Tina. It's running till December 4th, so I think the final weekend is upcoming. If you have not gotten tickets, get you some tickets. Go see this show. It's incredible. They went from New York, it's like going, I guess, on this national tour. It's still on Broadway in New York City, which I saw the Broadway version. But the translation from New York to Philly to the other national stages, it was a really great transition. And the Ike Turner they have on the tour, he is great. This Ike Turner in Philly, I'm going to say he was better than one in New York. The Tina from Philly, the one who plays, she's electric. She's incredible too. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Like, I've never really seen a Broadway show like that twice. But honestly, it's like a concert. It's like a rock concert. I don't want to give it away, but the ending just gets you on your feet, and you just can't. I've been listening to Private Dancer again. I've been on this Tina Turner binge. I've been into Private Dancer album. Like, banger, a banger, a banger. Okay, a trailblazer. Before there was Rihanna, there was Tina Turner. And I know people like to compare Beyonce, but I feel like the type of music that Tina does in the latter end of her career is more up the streak of Rihanna. And you know they got some things in common outside of the music. So I feel there's a connection between Tina and to Rihanna more than Beyonce. I think people just get caught up in the earlier era of Tina that they make the comparison to Beyonce, which I do see in the earlier aspects. And of course, she too married a man that was a mess. But there's some parallels there. But Tina is a queen. You're simply the best. I love that. I just love that whole Private Dance is good. I just do what you want me to do. I'm your private dancer, a dancer for money. Do what you listen. Anyway. I just love her. And I love that show. Really good show. It's better than watching it. I know y'all have y'all little Michael Jackson fans want to see musical. Y'all should have been seeing Tina the Musical. Iconic. Okay? And I know Adrienne, the woman who originated the role, she clearly is the best Tina ever. But we had to do what we had to do. These other Tinas are out here bringing that energy too. Okay? Y'all not gonna play the other Tinas. But no, Tina the Musical is phenomenal. Highly recommended. If you haven't, get you some matinee tickets. They're not that expensive. They're very affordable. To if you just want to see the show, it's not that expensive. But we saw that and was super excited about it. Adrienne Warren was the actress who won the 2020 Tony for playing Tina, and she killed it. Okay, but we also saw a show that is running from December 11th. Now, this is a good show. My barber's cousin, Phil Brown, is in this show. It's a play. It's called The Royale by Lantern Theater Company, which is in St. Thomas's Theater, which is in downtown Center City at the Lantern Theater Company. It's called The Royale. Got tickets to see it over the weekend. A great play, a very, very black play, a very cool play, very intense, very good. Good acting, good drama. I love a good play that has energy and drama. I saw a hit dog will holler the week before. I am a thespian, y'all. Y'all be like, listen, I go to more plays than movies nowadays. I know. I've become one of those type of blacks. Yes, I've going to see more plays than I've gone to the movies. I love a good show. I love a good play. This is, my younger life, I did theater a lot. So, no, but there's some good shows. Philly got a good theater thing going right now. Some good shows coming to town. But yes, that's been my week. And now I'm about to get into December, and it's gonna be Hollywood's holiday party season, which is I got a lot of holiday parties coming up. Girls got the birthdays coming. My girl Lauren's got a birthday coming. I'm going to Delaware for a weekend. Yes, I'm finally going to Delaware. I'm going to Wilmington, Delaware. And before I head to Houston, I'm going to Wilmington, Delaware, to go to La Dupont, this really good French hotel, and La Caviar, this really good Cavalier, I think it's called. It's really great restaurant by the owner of Res Ipsa, who Res Ipsa closed. That was like my favorite restaurant in Philly, y'all. But like, oh my God, Res Ipsa was like my favorite restaurant. And it closed during the pandemic, but he went to Wilmington, Delaware and brought this restaurant. He's been wanting me to come forever. So now I'm having an overnight stay. Mr. Johnson and I are going to try the spa. We're going to have a good time in Wilmington, Delaware for a weekend to see what it's about. See this restaurant. They done perfected their recipes. I am excited. I'm super excited to go to Delaware to try it out. Now, there's that. Then there's, Lauren's birthday and then holiday parties. There's just so much going on in December. I love December. But I'll be in Houston, H-Town, December 20th to December 30th, 20 to 30, 10 days in Houston. So to all of my H-Town people, folks that want to connect, I'll be in H-Town December 20th to December 30th. So, start planning, lunches and brunches and things in between. This is your warning. I'll be there. Don't do the whole, oh, Ernest, you came in and tell nobody you was here. Okay, I'm telling y'all, 10 days. You can make something happen on a 10-day schedule. If I was there for like 2-3 days, that's abrupt. But we got some time. I'm coming 5 days before Christmas, and I'll be there for another, 4 days after Christmas. Like, make it happen, Houston. Come through H-Town. Y'all know who y'all are. All right. So, the topics, the things that happened this week. And just really want to talk about this scandal real quick up top because it will not be talked about next week. But I definitely, a lot of you all you requested this, and I did some research, so I did want to come with some type of conversation about this Philly scandal. So, Thanksgiving. There's a guy named Wallow267. He is like a motivational speaker, media personality, social media influencer, I guess is a nice way to describe him. He served his time behind bars. He was incarcerated. Got back. He's a clean man doing his thing. He is connected with Gilly the Kid, this other older man who's a rapper. At one point in time, they're both in Philly. They do a podcast together. I guess a lot of older black men like to do podcasts in hip hop. I feel like I'm not throwing shade here. I'm just saying it seems to be this era of like all these like middle age like black men who want to do podcasts and talk about life. And a lot of times the stuff they're saying is just like, is this really deep or is it just anyway? Just there's like a weird culture of like middle aged black straight men that are like doing podcasts and like they're like all and they're like and Kevin Hart's like always on all of them. It's like a certain type of subculture. And they all like wear fitted caps and they're all like bald. And they all like are trying to stay hip and cool, but then they also kind of have like this like black as fuck like lifestyle slightly. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm not talking about one person. I'm just like, I'm thinking like Joe Budden. I'm thinking about all these people who do these podcasts. I'm like, these are all like middle-aged men. Or they're like young, dumb, annoying ass dudes that are like, have no experience, never on a real date, probably thought the bill was too high if it was over $100. Loser type dudes. And then you have these older, middle-aged black men who do these podcasts. And like, I don't know. They're just very like, they're all like the same. They all like, are on some prosperity money gospel shit like, ooh, sack your bread up, blah 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 blah. You gotta have a growth mindset, blah 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 blah. It's that kind of energy, right? And it's like you listen to that shit and you're like, that's not how it works. That's why people are broke. Y'all were the same ones pushing that cryptocurrency, that NFTs, and then somehow that just disappeared, didn't it? Now, when the white guy got bankrupt, right? You don't hear them talking that shit now, right? Okay. Them M to M type of matrix sales and money. The men do it just like they try to judge women, but like on waist trainers, but they like cryptocurrencies are like the waist trainers of like straight black hotep men. Like they push those things like waist trainers. Oh, you gotta get this cryptocurrency, or this NFT, and all that. They was trying to push that stuff. And then we all realized it was a bunch of bogus shit. And then they got quiet and then found their next scam, right? But these guys, they get on these they don't really say anything. It's like they all like have the same voice, the same attitude, whatever. But nonetheless, Wallow 267. So this guy, he has a massive following. He got close to 2 million followers on Instagram. He's got this large platform. Uh, what a waste, personally. Just being clear, I think it's a waste of a platform. And there's other things you could be. Okay, so he basically said that he was going to give out like money to single parents, women, trying to, you know, support their families during the holidays. And he was told them to meet him at a Target. He gave them a specific location. I think it was on the main line or City Line Avenue, but told them to go to this Target on Thanksgiving morning, I think around 9 a.m. Told them to go out there, meet him out there, and he was going to give them money or whatever, gift cards or whatever. It was going to be something like that. So all these people, all these black women ran down over there to that Target on Thanksgiving Day. Well, the Target was closed, wasn't open. And they're looking at Wallow like, where's Wallow? Like, where's Waldo? Where's Wallow? Where is this man? The Wallow that stole Christmas or stole Thanksgiving in this case. So it's awkward. He gets his ass down there. He stands at the front. It goes viral. He stands at that front like it's going to open. It wasn't going to open. It wasn't open. And if anybody would did their research and checked, that Target was not open. Most Targets are not open on Thanksgiving, not in Philadelphia at least. So it was basically an epic flop. People was mad. People clowned him on social that entire time. It was what it was. So then all of a sudden, there was this weird thing. The next day, he comes back. This time, of course, the stores are open, and apparently he's handing out $100 bills to all these different black women and people, and everyone's going crazy, and pandemonium, and Shade Room is covering it, and it's a bunch of hype. Y'all, and this is the part where white people, you can either be quiet and mind your business, or you could just, not listen to this part. You could choose. But whatever you do, you better not be trying to tell anybody about any of this. This is not your place. Don't bring this conversation up at the water cooler. Don't talk to a black person about it. If you're dating a black person, if they bring it up to you, that's fine. But this is the part of the conversation where you should just, be quiet. Just listen to it. Don't. This ain't the part for you to impede upon and make a Facebook status. Don't go out here and say, well, Ernest said, don't you? This is the part where you're a little quiet. But here's my thing to black people. Why do we do this? Why do we do this? Why do we do this all the time? I just don't understand. I I thought I'm figuring it out. I might say something about it. Not directly about him, but because there's a lot of people that do this. But I am you know what? I actually might. I have some ideas in my head. Got an idea. We're going to revisit this topic, but I have an idea about something. But I want to say this to black people. We got to stop with this exploitative flexing online of basically poverty exploitation. Like, why do we do this where we have to have cameras and we have to show impoverished black people doing the most ridiculous things for money? It's embarrassing, it's pathetic, and and it's so arrogant. It's arrogant for me. It's like, is this the only way that you can help support needy families? But by, of course, making a spectacle, flashing your money, and having needy families have to do the dance and the trollop and the gratitude on camera so you could look like some fucking hero. It's disgusting. It's performative. It's embarrassing. It's annoying. We have to stop doing it. We exploit and bring shame to those who need help. And it's always us doing it in these type of situations. Black parents and kids. Listen, There are a lot of charitable things that I do. And guess what? The people that know. And if you know, you know, right? There's a lot of cool things that I do. Not needing to put it out there. Don't gotta put it out there. If some people like to showcase it and say, thank you for helping me with this, that's cool. But like honestly, if you're doing good deeds and you're a good person, it's going to reflect in some type of way. I know Denzel Washington is a great man. I know because nobody in the industry talks shit about Denzel. Denzel done probably helped a lot of people. We find out later on, like we found out that he paid Chadwick Boseman's tuition at Howard when Chadwick wanted to be an actor, which he became a great actor, right? We've seen Denzel do a lot of other things that people don't know about, but he don't broadcast that. He don't put that out there, and we always wonder like how come there's certain people in the industry that people just are protecting. It's people like Denzel's out there, the Tom Hanks, because these people don't broadcast and flex their charitable deeds. They've probably helped a lot of people in need. We hear about Robert De Niro doing things like that. Like Robert De Niro out here doing some real work. It's a lot of folks, Julia Roberts, that do some things and we don't be hearing about it. But people really don't fuck with them. People never talk trash about them or drag them because people know where they are. And I feel like there's a lot of people who, respectfully so in the industry, there's people, haters, the trolls, whatever that talk, but I feel like I do right by a lot of people, internally, and that's why a lot of people don't fuck with me. Not because they're scared of me, but because people know relatively I mean well, and I do well by folks. I really do. People who will say otherwise, I will tell you why I didn't do that, and they know why. But most people, I don't fuck over people. Is what I'm saying. I'm a good person, and I think you can do though. You could be a good person and get that respect without broadcasting every single thing you do for somebody. There's some people out here that I've done a lot of great things for or did nice things for. And they were not good people. They did not return the favor. They did not have me in the same place of consideration. Will I ever air those people out publicly? No. Some of y'all might know who they are. Will I put their business on front? No. As long as they keep my name out their mouth and they not putting it out, trying to disrespect me in the streets, I won't do the same to them. That's just how it is. But I learned that a long time ago. And I just think that seeing these grown ass men who are acting like grown ass children still do these little pranks. Like, see, I remember when Meek Mill was doing it, and he was like in his 20s, childish, giving out $20 and, putting on camera and all that kind of shit. But these dudes are grown. Y'all are old heads. Y'all in y'all late 30s, early 40s. Y'all mid-aged men. Can y'all stop? Like, just stop. Like, what's the point of that? Like, what's the real point of doing that? I think it dehumanizes people. I think it's just does not respect folks. I'm not a fan. So that's where I'm at with. But I'm gonna tell you why I wasn't a fan of Wallow 267 a while ago. I'm gonna tell you a real reason why. And again, it's a matter of style and personality and what we do. You know that he got paid thousands, a couple of thousands of dollars from the city, taxpayers' dollars, to promote people being safe during COVID, like telling people to wash their hands and wear a mask. I criticized that because it was him and Saad, which Saad's an anti-vaxxer, okay? Y'all see it. Yes, Saad's an anti-vaxxer. She was very critical, pushing out conspiracy theories and rhetoric on her social media about it. But took, I think, a $5,000 check, I believe, from the city to promote, what they call it, PPP or whatever, like personal health, and she was promoting, wellness for the city during the pandemic. Some of y'all remember those ads. I remember them. I remember there was articles about it, and I was critical about that, about her doing it, about him, but just people like, why are we paying people to promote this to their followers? Like, we knew COVID was exponentially hurting and targeting Black and brown communities, and yet there are people that were getting paid, that had to get paid to use their platforms to spread that awareness. You wasn't going to do that anyway. You wasn't already doing that. I mean, shit, I wasn't getting paid. Yeah, like what? But that's just that type of culture. This type of I got to get checks to do. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the poverty pimping. And I know that's a word, that's a red flag, but it is. It's poverty pimping, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna be cute. I'm not gonna, red bow this shit. It's poverty pimping. These people show up in our communities. They come from our communities, but then they show up and want checks, and then they become overseers on these plantation politics. They get money. They're dumb as hell, and they get money, and they think because they have money that somehow that makes them wiser. They get in these rooms and they think they're the shit. And listen, as somebody who gets in these rooms and is the shit, I will tell you that what you have to do to get in will not keep you in, and you could be funny as hell. You can have all this money in the world, but if you're not considerate, if you don't practice humanity and ethos of what you do and how you portray the community and how you consider the culture, all of that it goes in vain. I just said what I had to say. I know how this goes. I know how this goes. I know how this goes. So, I feel like there are times when I see things that are right, and I'm like, you know what? I just gotta keep it 100. Sometimes you just gotta keep it 100. Sometimes you just gotta let people know what it is and let people know what the tea is, you know? But, you know, sometimes you just gotta keep it on the beam. So, ugh, goodness, this has been a meet. We have had quite the podcast today. Um, Trump and Kanye. Yes, they're back together. And let me tell you something. I don't want to hear anything else about Kanye. I don't want to hear anything redeeming about Kanye. I don't want to hear anything about Kanye that tries to humanize him. Fuck him. He's been a problem, but he continuously is a problem. And I'm going to keep y'all updated because there are some Kanye apologists out here that still want to believe that we're going to get Kanye from 2006. It's not happening. It is over. It's been over. Let it go. Like, Tamika Mallory, ciao, bye. Like, I'm over Tamika Mallory. This whole, whatever this crap is that they're trying to do for Kyrie Irving, like, I'm over it. I'm over it. Right? Because y'all show up for these celebrities or these high profile cases. Y'all exploit them to build your capacity until freedom is a hot ass mess of an organization. That's my opinion. I'm going to say it like that. This has been nothing but just brands on top of brands pushing shit for clout. These clout chasing, bloodthirsty motherfuckers. I have nothing nice to say. Nothing nice to say. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. The movement has taken a lot of hits based off of a lot of these self-centered ass grifters. Now, they may have started off initially caring, but at this point, it's become all about, just performance. And you should know where she came from, right? You know where she came from. Okay, she came from Al Sharpton. She worked under him, under his group. And then she came over here, like came and created her own. Like, they understand how this works. Cameras, books, push, sell. All of that. And the thing is, like, it's one thing if that's who you are. But why is this on the blood? Why are you profiting off of the blood, right? Like, people have died. Real issues. And you're manufacturing it to be some social justice crusader. I cannot. But I digress. Trump is in Mar-A-Lago with Kanye. Kanye is with Nick Fuentes, who is this crazy far right nut. Okay, this guy has like more issues than Vogue, and just just a problem, right? And there was a lot of issues because they had this dinner, and now Trump is blaming Kanye West for bringing Nick Fuentes as a dinner guest. And part of the drama is that, I guess everyone's calling him Ye, but basically Trump has said that Kanye is a, quote, seriously troubled man who he was trying to help. But now he's blaming Kanye for this dinner where he brought this known white supremacist. Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist, y'all, okay? And he went to Mar-a-Lago with him. And now Kanye is trying to back up on it because he said he did not know who Fuentes was. Now Trump, right? So the tea was that the New York Times and Axios had both reported, like last week, that Trump, right before Thanksgiving on Tuesday, like last Tuesday, Fuentes and Ye was at Mar-A-Lago, which is in Florida. For those who don't know, Mar-A-Lago is just a state. It's called Mar-A-Lago. I don't know why it's called that. It's just random as fuck. But it's in Florida, okay? And this is where Trump has lived since he's left the White House. So basically, Fuentes has made a lot of, you know, he's made racist comments. He's denied the Holocaust. He's it's a lot of stuff that's been going on. And it's weird because Fuentes has had his own cancellations, and now Kanye has joined ties with this man, and it's been a lot. And Trump has received a lot of backlash, and this is right after he announced he was running. I mean, even people that normally kiss Trump's ass, okay, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson said that it was very troubling that Trump had met with him. They think it was a good idea. They all know he's an anti-Semite and they know he's a racist. Like, everybody knows it about Nick. The fact that Kanye's hanging out with him, I mean, y'all, it's a choice. It's a choice. Okay? Is it mental health? Whatever. It is a choice. You're going out looking for anti-Semites and you're looking for, racists. Like, you're hanging out with violent, neo-Nazis. Like, this is what you're fucking with. Right? This is the type of people that you're hanging out with. Okay? And Trump hanging out with both of them and not knowing, and you're the former president of the United States, boy, bye. Get out of here. But that's who Trump hanging out with. I mean, that's who Kanye's hanging out with. Now everybody want to play hot potato and blame one another. Kanye, Trump now trying to back off from West. Like, what are you doing, Kanye? Like, I don't even need to ask what he's doing. Like, it's bullshit. It's desperation. It's thirst. It's giving bother. It's giving delusion. But it's always been that way. It's giving self-hatred. It's giving a lot of things. But whatever it's giving, I don't need it, okay? You're now aligning yourself with white supremacists. I mean, he was already doing that already, but now you've taken it, you just done. Just done, okay? And to make matters worse, there's that whole Balenciaga scandal, and everyone's like, why the liberals not talking? Okay, so Balenciaga had some controversy. They had a campaign where they had a kid in a harness while playing with toys, and people thought the kid was being sexualized for in a harness. Okay, not the best idea. They took the ad off the end, right? That's how I felt. Oh, but he was like, everybody want to cancel him, but they don't want to talk about what Balenciaga's doing to these kids. Oh my God, shut up. They fixed it. Most people who make mistakes, unlike your ass, actually fix the issues. Kanye wanted to bring it up and said, and there's some people that still want to ride or die for him. Like these black women online that's just ride or die for these trash ass men. And yes, we're going to talk about the Kanye. No, we're going to talk about the Chris Brown thing. Yes, we're going to get to that in a minute. But I just wanted to say, why do y'all defend these men? Why? They ain't shit. I'm not defending none of these dudes. They ain't shit. I'm not even going to hold you. They're not even shit. But that there's this sense of people want to defend. But I'm going to let people be great. Now, Twitter has a hit list for liberals. There has been this group of people that create like 500,000, I think they said, accounts that they were trying to get knocked off of Twitter. I don't think I was on the list. No one's told me I was on this list, thank goodness. But there's a bunch of far-right conservatives that have a list of these progressive Twitter accounts that they want to try to deactivate or knock off. And how they do it is that they report tweets, they massively report something, and then that sets the Twitter algorithm off where Twitter can then, delete the tweets. Twitter has been feeling like a ghost town lately. I have not tweeted that much on Twitter. I've lost a lot of followers, not because, I did anything, but because a lot of people are like getting off of Twitter. Like, you can feel the loss. You can feel it. Like, people are just deactivating. They're going to other things right now. I'm not ready. I'm just not mentally ready to go on what's it called, Mastodon or whatever it's called. I just don't want to give any more social media apps. I just got on TikTok for the book. I just don't want to get on anymore. I cannot. And I'm barely on TikTok like that. I just, it does what it needs to do. I got a book to push, it's cute. But Twitter is still, I'm still holding on. Like Adele said, that so see, I'm over there. I'm consuming Adele. Listen, holding on. I was holding on. I'm holding on. We're going to see. But it's it's just not looking too good. I mean, so many great people were on there. Even people I know was on there. I was like, wow, too much. But it's, we're holding on, I guess, some of us. Now, Jerry Jones. Now, if you don't know who Jerry Jones is, you have not been following this Jerry Jones scandal. I understand because I'm so tired of the NBA. I mean the NFL, sorry. NBA is okay, except LeBron gets on my nerves right now. But anyway, there's been a lot going on. So for people who have not been finding out, there was a photograph that was taken 65 years ago on September 9th, 1957 at Little Rock High School. Now, I grew up in Arkansas. I spent some years in Arkansas. Little Rock. Okay. Now, in Arkansas, there is a photo of Jerry Jones standing at this protest. Now, for people who don't know what this is about, there's this photo, okay, from 1957. Okay, so this is 65 years ago, that showed him among a group of white young men, okay, blocking the path of black students attempting to desegregate this school. And they became Little Rock Nine. Now, I grew up knowing about the Little Rock Nine. Please look up their story. These black, courageous kids who just basically wanted to go get an education. And there was some hating-ass white kids that wouldn't let them go. So when you think of people like Ruby Bridges, now she wasn't in Arkansas, but that time period of groups. But the Little Rock Nine was a group of black students who was just going into the school to get a fucking public education. And this is the type of shit that was happening to them. Jerry Jones was one of those people that was a part of that group of white racist youth that was out there bothering these kids, not letting them go. Okay? Now, he was 14 years old, and he is now the Dallas Cowboys owner. Okay? He owns the Dallas Cowboys. Now, there has been some issues with Jerry Jones and segregation and all this. NFL just stay with racists. Now they got segregationists now in the group, and now the photos done proved it all. And everybody's shook. And everybody's scared. And everybody, feeling some type of way. It is what it is. Did Jerry do it? We're going to find out. All I know is that you are what you are. And you better be held accountable for it. You can't sit around here and play in people's face like that. I think that's the problem. Everybody want to sit up here and act like they don't know what happened. This, that, and the third. They don't, all this. But the one person that pissed me off the most was Stephen A. Smith. He is trying to defend Jerry Jones. This ain't it. That's all I'm going to say. This ain't it. He trying so hard, to defend this. But recent interview with CNN, the Little Rock Nine member shared his thoughts on it. And, it's been interesting, it's just, it says a lot. He was defending him. Stephen A. Smith, who was based in Philly at one point, but he's going to sit up here and post that he's very fond of Jerry Jones and that he doesn't deserve what just happened to him because now people are dragging him. No, you got to speak up on it, right? He was saying, quote, "You're making an attempt to eradicate him. By the way, I don't have a problem with the photo. If he was 30, 35, 40 years old, that's different. 14, 15 years old, we're going to lean on somebody. He was 14, born and raised in the South, and we're going to pick it up 66 years later to say, something, you ain't hire a black coach. I think that's pretty low. If he were an adult, that would be different." I'm sorry, Stephen A. Smith, but if you've grown up racist, okay, because that's what it was, and you've never publicly checked yourself on your racism, and you have never identified your racism or changed how you view the world, then why do we keep giving people or assuming people are learning and growing? Why do we say that people are learning and growing because we think that's what we would do? How do we know? This man is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. He's never hired a black coach. He seems to be okay with having black players out on the field playing, but don't want anybody to be in leadership. Now, I don't fuck with the NFL because I think they're all trash, right? But it must begs the question that you grew up a segregationist. You were talking about a photo that was when he was 14, but we don't know what he was doing at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Well, he was probably still carrying these views. When did they ever get checked? How do we know? Jerry Jones needs to speak on this. But to be that black man that's gonna sit up there and act like you doing something about us defending the white man that really like has not done anything for you. It's just another example of yet again these black straight men being the weakest link in the group, the first to fold. What y'all doing? Why are we? Why is this the hill to die on? You could have just shut up. You could just be quiet. Because if the tables were turned, they would not have done the same for you. That I know for a fact. They would have not done the same for you. But people have to live and learn and find out. They have to look in that mirror and realize that they're black. And that for all these people they like to defend, these people, they typically don't have it for them. So, the more you learn, the more you live, the more you learn. Yeah, but I'm not crazy about it. I'm not crazy about NFL. I don't know why people keep trying to give them a lifeline. Like, oh, there's got to be something. It's just like they can't let go of the addiction. It's just like they've shown you 1,000 times how they feel about black people, how they feel about their players, how they feel about mental health, how they feel about just general health and safety of their players, how they feel about domestic abuse. They've shown you how many times they feel about black people having free speech, and y'all just folded. The Kaepernick moment should have been bigger. I mean, it was big, it was epic, but it should have been. This should have I knew then. It was in that moment when I knew. I said, we're a lost cause. We're a lost cause. In some cases, because that situation right there should have been no excuse, none excuse whatsoever. But people want to be, seen and relevant and all that, whatever. Now, this mayoral's race is heating up. Helen Gim, what's taking so long? What, you gonna do it this week? You gonna do it the following week? What's taking so long, Miss Gim? Everyone's waiting, right? Everyone's on the edge of their seat waiting to see how this election is going to shape up. I'm excited personally. I'm excited because I don't really know who's going to win. I don't know. I have a couple of thoughts of who's not going to win, but I don't know who's going to win. But I do have some thoughts on who's not going to win. And I think it's becoming very clear. But I think we have to, again, see who even decides to go on that ballot. I've made a promise to myself, and I think a lot of my folks who observe political politics know local politics. I will say this. If you don't get your ass on that ballot, if you're not on the ballot, I don't care until you're on the ballot. Anything can happen between now and mid-February when the ballots are due, the petition signatures begin. Get on the ballot. Get on the ballot. It's a lot of people talking right now, talking about what they're going to do. Anything can happen between now and the time to get on the damn ballot. So I want to see people actually get on the ballot. And then when you get on that ballot and when you hit that stage, then we can talk. Then we can have a conversation about elections. But until then, I'm not convinced. I'm not 100% sold on a lot of these people. I'm not 100% sold that all these people are going to run. Because it's one thing to talk the talk and raise a little money. But this is a serious case. They're saying you got to get at least $5 million to run for mayor. I think they say in Philadelphia. You're going to need at least $5 million to play in Philly. There's a couple people that got money like that. They got to blow. They ain't got nothing else to do. But there are some people that are really, I'm like, how you going to do it? You got all this talk, but where the money at? So there's going to be some real money that is going to need to get on this race. You're running an operation citywide in one of the biggest American cities. Like, that is segregated. So you're going to have to hit different demographics. You're going to have things translated. You're going to have to do a lot of things. This city is a very segregated yet diverse city. And so there's different pockets of interest and things. And so there's a lot. Campaigns are not cheap at all. We just saw the most expensive Pennsylvania U.S. Senate race ever. Okay, hundreds of millions of dollars was spent to try to get this race, to get Fetterman to win. Okay, that man was having to make $2 million after a debate, like in one night. It was money. Money came, money burnt, because they had to do what they had to do to keep these TV ads on and annoy the hell out of us. But damn it, it worked, didn't it now? But we have to, it takes a lot of work to run a political campaign. And I think a lot of people think it's just this idea of what they think people want versus what the reality is. And I've been talking to some political insiders and some folks talking about certain people. I'm like, listen, identity politics are not going to be that strong. We people are trying to revert back to identity politics, and I'm just like, okay, you think that's how it works? All right, you think people just gonna vote for somebody because they're a black woman? You think somebody just gonna vote for somebody because they are this or that? I'm telling you, I don't think that's where we're at. We are right now. We're not. We're not. Not if you're not someone who has had a good reputation. They did the Democratic machine, which people keep saying there's no Democratic machine. Child, if I told you who said that to me, you will laugh at the source. Sometimes you gotta look at the source. The people a part of the machine will never say it's the machine because they don't want to know. There is a machine. They rub each other's back, they scratch each other's back, they put each other in different things, they move money through each other. I'm confused. I'm very confused. There's a lot going on. But nonetheless, I say all that to say that politics is just in Philadelphia interesting, and I'm curious to see how it's going to shape up. But I just wanted to put that on the table. Just saying. Helen, where you at? I guess it's going to be before PA Society. No, Mr. Owens is not going to PA Society. I have no need, no use. I'm going to enjoy my time in Wilmington, Delaware. I don't want to be around all that chaos and annoyance. Because I know PA Society is going to be annoying as hell this year. For those who don't know, it's when a bunch of a bunch of Pennsylvanians, they go to New York. Normally they're at the Waldorf Astoria. A bunch of people get together and they make it a point to support Pennsylvania politicians, except they give the money and support to New York. And everyone has been making this a tradition. And they think it's cute. Philadelphians and Pennsylvanians in New York, woohoo. And they're at this hotel and they, do a bunch of, arm wrestling and lobbying and ass kissing and tap dancing and shucking and jiving for money for their campaigns. That's what it is. And then there's a couple of charitable things that happen, a couple of nice awards that go to good people. But other than that, it's a bunch of Hufflepuff. So that's happening. And I know it's going to be intense because everyone's running for mayor and there's a lot of fake people. And a lot of fake people are already now. They're all like coming up to me, want to shake my hand and say hi and crap. It's about being formal and cordial. But I'm like, I know y'all fake as hell. Y'all fake as fuck. Y'all don't fuck with me. That's what I really want to say. But I'm like, hi, it's good to see you. Good to see you. It's been going. And the one thing I like to say to me, because they don't want to talk about my actual journalism career because they hate my journalism because they know I be keeping it real, is they talk about like, they always bring up I'm married. I'm like, I just got married a year ago, y'all. Like, I mean, I know it's not too long, but like, you just had a wedding. I'm like, did I just have a wedding? That wedding was a year ago. They bring up my wedding. They always say, oh, congrats on your wedding. I'm just like, but my wedding was a year ago. A year ago. But they find something else to say because they want to talk about the journalism, which is hilarious because they know I'll be in that ass. But I digress nonetheless. It's just something I've observed. So let me tell y'all, okay, because this is what I know. This is the part where the podcast gets even spicier. Because, of course, fans requested August Alsina. They want to talk about this August Alsina thing. Let's talk about August Alsina. And I have some tea. I've come with tea. I've come with tea. So, The Surreal Life has returned on VH1. For those of you, my millennials, y'all remember The Surreal Life? Y'all remember? It was like Flavor Love, and this is before he had Flavor Love. This is Flavor Flav. Flavor Flav, before there was Flavor Love, there was a show called Surreal Life, which was fun. That's how Flavor Flav, I think, became a pop cultural icon in reality TV. So they put these celebrities, I want to say these B-listers, but let me be real, C-listers, D-listers, celebrities, they put them in this group together, and it's like the real world, but with celebrities, if that makes sense. And they have to live together and do certain activities, and of course they're bumping heads because they're like really odd. So Flavor Flav, it was that other white woman who he was liking. I think her name was Bridget something. And it was a couple other folks on it that was like interesting characters in the old show. But they brought it back, and this is messy as hell. I've been following some of it. So this season, this new revamped version of Surreal Life, they had August Alsina, which you all know, Mr. Entanglements with Jada Pinkett Smith. And then there was Jada. Well, sorry, there was August Alsina, Frankie Muniz, who used to be in Malcolm in the Middle. Okay, the young, Frankie Muniz. Remember him? He was like the big actor who was like the child actor who was really talented. He was in Malcolm in the Middle and all those like cool little Spy Kids. He wasn't in Spy Kids, but he was in a movie like Spy Kids. He was a big deal when he was out. He was a Nickelodeon kid. They have Dennis Rodman, because Dennis Rodman is always going to do some type of reality show with his weird ass. Dennis Rodman, Stormy Daniels, yes, the woman who claims to have slept with Trump, the former porn star. Yep, she's on there. Tamar Braxton, even more interesting, right? Tamar Braxton. And then a couple other folks that was on there, some former actors. Um, I mean, those the main stars who I just said. Those are the main people. Then there's a couple other folks that I don't recognize, but they all fit some type of checkbox, like women of color, black women, uh, queer people. All the diversity checking points. But the show was interesting. There was a lot of beef and tension and things. Well, at the end of this latest episode, before we get to the finale, August Alsina says he wants to proclaim this love, this new love that he has with somebody he really cares about, and this person is showing him how to love in a different way. And it's like really getting emotional, like, oh, this is what's going on, what you about to do, what you doing, what you about to do. And he brings out this boy. And I'm gonna say boy because it is a boy. We'll get to that in a minute. But he brings out this dude, and everyone's like, oh shit, August is gay, August is bi, what's happening? And he's like sitting next to him, and they hug each other, and they like dap each other, and this is giving like, oh, he's gay, or he's bi, or oh, he's queer. Wow. So the internet explodes. Everyone is like, oh my God, August is with this man. Was it an entanglement with Will and Jada now? Emphasis on the and Will. You better stop it. Y'all better stop. They just having all kind of questions. The internet is just going wild. It was trending everywhere. It was a hot topic. Now, I will tell you that I have met August Alsina back in 2014 at the BET Awards. I also saw Chadwick Boseman and took a photo with that man. He's incredible. And I just want to tell people that Chadwick Boseman was dope before Black Panther. Y'all need to put some respect on his name. Everybody always wants to talk about T'Challa. Yes, iconic role, big blockbuster role. But that brother was doing so many biopics. I remember we used to make jokes about him in a good way. That man's going to play everything. He played Thurgood Marshall. He played James Brown. He played Jackie Robinson. Like, what other black person he was going to play? He was playing he was only dark-skinned man could play light-skinned role. Nobody fret about it, okay? Thurgood Marshall was a high yellow black man, okay? Chadwick Boseman was a chocolate thunder. But yet we just let it happen because we like Thurgood Marshall. I mean, we just like Chadwick. He could do anything. I was like, who are you gonna play next? I mean, he was just a biopic man for one point in time. At one point in time he was. And then, of course, Black Panther came and changed the game. But I'm just saying, he's just, what a talent. So at this after party, after the award show, I saw August, Sage the Gemini. Remember that? Like a red nose. Yeah, that she gon' shake it like a red nose. Yeah, yeah. Remember that song, Sage the Gemini? Remember that? Maybe y'all don't. Well, he was there. A lot of has-beens. So what was interesting in that room was that he was so aggressive. August was a total asshole. Anybody who remember August before all his hospitalizations and issues, he was notoriously known as a jerk. Like, he was on 106 in Park at the time, and he just always had an attitude and was always had a hot temper, like old Butch Queen. So I'm not too surprised about this, but he would just always be hot tempered, just always mad, had an nasty attitude. It's like, dude, like, okay, relax. I mean, he had that cute song, though. I love it. That was a cute song. But something about him, I just was like, Now, there was speculation and rumors about him before. Now, there was rumors, okay? Rumors, allegedly, that he was like, a rent boy, like in New Orleans, because that's where he's from. Like, he was a sex worker, and apparently a sex worker both ways. I heard this years ago when I was in LA, when I was at the war. They were saying that he was, that was his background, and I mean, him having his entanglement with Jada, I mean, was he like living over there and stuff? Was that a pay for play? I don't know. Allegedly. But I just was just thinking to myself, like, the whole situation was just like, But I was hearing this when I was in LA. Now, what I did hear, allegedly, which puts it in context because I just want to bring it back. Him and Trey Songz had beef. They was at a party with Chris Brown. I went to that party. They took our cell phones. Listen, there are parts of this conversation where I'm going to have to give you the abridged version because I can't tell all the details. There are some things that I am sworn into secrecy. I will not tell. I will never fold. Best friends know, but not everybody know. I can't say everything, but this podcast is exclusive. Now, I was at that party. They took our phones. We couldn't do anything. I saw Justin Bieber, and I have photos with these people. I did not take a picture with Chris Brown. And I did not know Chris Brown was going to be at the party. Did I know he was going to be at the party? This is when Loyal came out. So maybe I was cutting up back. That was, because Loyal was a hit, but he ain't shit. But I think I was listening to Loyal. But this is when Loyal came out, because this was 2014. That was that summer. Iggy Azalea had came out with Fancy. It all makes sense. Nicki had Pills and Potions. Floyd Mayweather was beefing with T.I. and he was standing outside the Ritz-Carlton, because we was at the Ritz-Carlton in L.A., near L.A. Live. See, I remember this very well. This was the same event where I got into it, where I had that encounter with Mark Lamont Hill. Remember I told you about that? And he was called a stupid ass bitch by Big Boy and all that. Yeah, this was that same BT weekend, y'all. Oh goodness, the girl keeps her receipts. So I was there and I saw Drea, and I did not ask her where her kids were at. I saw Drea. I saw Miss Lawrence. But at this party, though, it was like, I remember it was Trey Songz and August. They were separate, though. They had different camps and squads. But I remember Trey Songz. This before we knew Trey Songz to be a problem. But Trey Songz was rumored to have a relationship with a boy named Brandon. Now, I'm saying allegedly, because allegedly is important. But there was a rumor at that time that he was talking to this boy who he did music with. And it was a mess. And a lot of people don't want to talk about it because they covered that story up. But it was called The Two Brandons and the Vanished Gossip article that outed them. His name was Brandon Hines. Brandon Hines was really close to him. Now, there was also a new man they said was in Trey's life called Brandon Dieta, who was an NYU graduate who worked at Sony in the A&R department before getting his gig at Roc Nation. Apparently, he's a good looker. He looks good. This is back in the day. But they said that Trey and him met in Los Angeles a day before the MTV Video Music Awards. Now, this was years ago. Okay, we're taking this all the way back. But apparently, there was also Brandon Hines. And I remember Brandon Hines because they used to know each other for a while too, and used to do music together. And it was a lot going on because Brandon Hines was a singer and nobody wanted to talk about what happened to Brandon Hines. People found out later that he was gay, but it was going on for a minute, but yes, Trey Songz definitely was speculation that he was living two lives, but those boys disappeared, those Brandons. We don't never hear about them anymore, which is interesting. But all of a sudden, what they said was they was in a relationship allegedly for 6 months. This is back in 2004. And they said that Trey Songz is bisexual. And he's been dating since 2004, allegedly. And they basically said that he was, dating an industry professional named Brandon Hines, another person in the industry, allegedly. And that they worked from 2004 to 2005, and it was roughly dating. And they said that, this is a little bit too much information. I'm not going to send all that information because that's none of your business. But apparently, he's very versed, allegedly. But that's what the blogs were saying. This is on the internet. I don't believe everything off the internet, but this is what was on the internet. But what I will say is that at the time, him and August had some beef. They had some issues with each other. No one ever understood what was the nature of the relationship. I mean, the relationship of the beef, allegedly. No one understood what the conflict was between the two of them, but they patched it up on stage with Chris Brown at that award show that night, and everything was all good. But we never found out what happened with them or what caused that. It was just some trash talking, and then they just worked it out. Well, I was at a party. They had a party. And I remember that Karrueche was still dealing with Chris Brown. I think she bought him a car. I met Karrueche Tran. And this is when she was still in the throes with Chris Brown. And this is before it got really, really problematic and she had that restraining order. But we're going to talk about that later on too. But there was a lot of interesting things happening with just Chris Brown and all that stuff. And I just remember people were like not paying it any mind. But I do remember this. I do remember this like it was yesterday. But something was weird about that. But anywho, move fast forward. Trey Songz is now out here attacking women and reports of him attacking women, getting in multiple abuse allegations against women. It appears that this woman does not really like women inside and out. I mean, based on what the allegations are been on him. But he's just kind of fell into obscurity. But on the other hand, we also see, you know, August Alsina, who just had his situation with Jada, about 2 years ago, the entanglements and all that. Now he's up with this guy. Now let me just say this real quick. It's weird. I feel I'm conflicted about all of this. I'm going to tell you why I'm conflicted. The first thing is that I'm just so tired of people doing coming out as a stunt. Like, I'm tired of the big old reveal. I'm gay. Like, I'm over that. There was a time and place where that made sense in pop culture and history, but now I just feel like, I don't know. Like, I'm happy people are being themselves or living their truths, whatever that means to different people. However, I just feel like the fact that people have used it as a plot line, that August Alsina is always pushing something. I see right through him. Every time he got a controversy, he's always trying to turn it into a coin. That damn capitalist. Like, I mean, like with the situation with Jada, he had a song called Entanglements he had put out. I remember when that song came out. Next thing you know, there was a song, and I think there was a book or some shit that was rumored to come. Like, it was like all this other, like, you're profiting off of all this drama. What a loser. Like, there's a lot of that kind of stuff happening. It's very grifty. And so I'm like, was wondering the whole time, why was he on a surreal life? He really didn't want to talk about the Jada thing, which he didn't talk much about. But then it became this new thing about him now entertaining his queerdom. Now, if it comes out on Monday, because when the surreal life finale comes out, we're going to do a recap of this, that he's not gay and that this is just a friend, that he might be queer baiting us, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem either way. I'm going to tell you why it's going to be a problem either way. If he's queer baiting, fuck you, August Alsina. If it's not true, he has not addressed any of the rumors. He have not said anything yet. It's been pictures, but no, he has not actually said anything to address the speculation. But I think he's also built up the anticipation for the episode. So this finale of the surreal life that's coming on Monday, I mean, yeah, I want to see that. I want to see how this is going to play out. But I don't know. People are still saying that's his brother. I'm like, that is not his brother. I don't know. Now, let me tell you, if it is true, he's damned if he do, damned if he don't. If it's not true, fuck you for playing into like queer baiting and doing that. Because a lot of unfortunate, we had to see unnecessary homophobia come out of these folks. I know they was homophobic regardless, but I hate stuff like this because then the homophobes use opportunities like this to just jump out and be full of shit. So I'm feeling all types of ways about this on so many fronts, but nonetheless. So that's one part of it. Like, I hope that this is what it is. Like, if you're really about that life, you're really about that life. No fuckboy shit. Let's see. Now, here's my problem now. I checked out this boy. He's a model, okay? I think his name is Zoe or Zoo or Zor, whatever the fuck the name is. But he's 19 years old. August Alsina is 30. August, I've been looking through the receipts. I've been following this for a minute now. Before this boy showed up, it's the same boy as Instagram. Now, I done looked at the old stuff. They've been going at it for several months. He's a rising musician. He wants to be in the music industry. They love these industry boys. He wants to be a music artist. They have done songs together. I've listened to them. They don't sound that good, y'all. They've done music together. They've gone on tour together. When August makes appearances, he lets the boy get there. And I call him a boy because he's 19. My brother is 19, okay? My brother is 19 years old. So I'm feeling some type of way at 31 years old about this entire dynamic. But they've been traveling a lot, taking pictures and stuff and all this. People are starting to think that they might have a little thing going on. All I got to say is, hell the fuck no. I hope that he's queer baiting. Because if they're actually dating, I have questions, August. I have questions. It's giving grooming. It's looking like grooming. And first of all, what does a 19-year-old boy got to do? First of all, you waited till he was 19, so y'all was kicking it when he was 18. You was still, at that time, before the calendar shift, you was about 29. Again, what does a 29, 30-year-old man got to do with an 18, 19-year-old child? What is y'all doing if it's not sibling? Like, if y'all, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing like that? I had those questions when I was hearing stories about Usher and Diddy hanging out when he was very young and him being a mentor. Like he was being Usher was exposed to a lot as a young person. There's lots of stuff going on in the industry. We got to ask these questions. What's going on here? What's going on? He's 19. He can't drink legally. You know, I mean, he just was able to pick up a pack of cigarettes, less than a year ago. What's going on over here? And what do you want with him? And what can he do for you at that age? It's creepy. It's not cute. I don't like it. Okay? I don't. Now, let's move the tables. If this boy was 29 and August Alsina was 29th, it was a different year. See, people get caught up with the age gap stuff. It's not about the age time gap sometimes. It's really about the time to which it is. It's nothing. If you are 50 and you're dating someone that's 35, do your thing because that's a grown ass man. But if you are 50 and you're dating a 20-year-old or 19-year-old, I'm looking at you funny. Because that's old enough to be your child. Now, with August, it's not old enough to be his child. But I think about the situation with Tyga and the other girl. What's her name? I forgot one of those. Kylie Jenner, was it? Yeah, Kylie Jenner. When she was like 17, 18 on a little scale, on that age break, and Tyga was talking to her like 26. I'm sorry, what we doing? Why are we talking to young ass kids? Listen, if they can't use your phone, don't bring them home. If they can't get a drink, you should rethink. Okay? If they can't get a drink, you should rethink. That child is 19. That child can't even get a drink. So you should rethink. I'm not here for it. I feel like any grown-ass adult that is past the college years, because let's be clear, I understand situations where, okay, you're 21, the person you talk to is 18, y'all in the same, 4 years in college. Get it. I date a man that's younger than me. I 100% understand. Barry and I started dating when he was 19, I was 22. We were both in college. I was an upperclassman, he was a freshman. We was in the same ballpark. Reasonable. But let's say that I graduated, I was years removed, I'm 26, and Mr. Johnson was a freshman at Penn. No, baby. First of all, I wasn't even looking at him. I like to look at what's in my vicinity. Like, you have to be in the same space. At that age point. Now, if there was years in between, like let's say, okay, I'm 38 and I met him he was 31. Yeah, because we're both fully functioning mature adults. But you're taking a young, impressionable, artist, right? Musician who has aspirations for fame. Let's be clear. The boy wants to be famous. You don't see how that is a little bit problematic? Or is it just me? Or do we not care like we didn't care when, Jay-Z was like 31 or 30 and Beyonce was just about 18 when they allegedly started dating? I don't know. Maybe I should mind my business. Maybe I should be quiet because y'all love y'all faves. But let's be clear. I mean, or are we just going to ignore, the stories about Foxy Brown and Jay-Z and we're just going to, nobody's going to talk about that. Nope. But y'all have normalized this within cis-het relationships. But the moment it happens amongst the queer folk, that's why no one's saying anything. Because if you pop your mouth about August and this young bull, which you should, you better have your mouth about Jay-Z and Beyonce. You should just look at that a little bit and be like, love Beyonce down. Love her down. But that relationship, Jay-Z, sir. Just wanted to put that out there. Power dynamics in relationships are very important, but you have to recognize situations that just stand out a little bit more. I mean, time has passed, clearly The love was real between the two of them. But August and this boy, this is giving, is this giving thirst? It's giving in the season. We don't know yet, but we're going to find out. But I just want to put it on the table. Speaking of putting things on the table, since we're on this topic, let's talk about this Chris Brown situation. I really feel like it's time. It's time to just put it on the table once and for all. I'm sick of y'all and y'all defense of Chris Brown. Chris Brown, enough. So I watched the American Music Awards. Taylor Swift took up everything, won everything as she should. It was okay. Wayne, was it Wayne Brady hosted the show? Couple of moments. But there's been a lot of controversy over Chris Brown. He started all this because he couldn't perform. He couldn't perform at the AMAs, which, was a big deal for him because, he doesn't get that many. He hasn't been performing that many shows lately. I've been noticing that. They've been really not putting Chris Brown on TV that much. He still is doing shows, but the live TV appearances, not as much. But apparently there was plans initially, the Dick Clark Productions who put on the AMAs, apparently they wanted to do a Thriller 40th anniversary because in 1982, Thriller was born. The Thriller video, the iconic Thriller, 40th anniversary, right? So the plan was that, I guess, Chris Brown was going to do a tribute. Another decade, another Chris Brown, Michael Jackson tribute. Quite frankly, I'm a little bit over it. How many times? I'm over a lot of these tributes. Every time I turn around, there is a Jennifer Hudson, Aretha Franklin tribute. There was a Whitney ones. Remember the Whitney ones they tried to have her do? It's like, at some point, we have to have people just be their own. Just be their own. How many of these damn tributes we got to do? But they're doing a tribute. They did a tribute. They were going to do a tribute for Michael Jackson. The plan was for Chris Brown to do it. Now, I didn't see about 2 Chris Brown tributes. There's been probably more of them. I remember the one at the World Music Awards, which was pretty good. I remember the one of all time in 2008 when Michael Jackson had passed away, and Chris Brown was just busting on the floor crying that weekend, and Jamie Foxx was hosting, and they had turned the show around. It was a really great award show, and they had Beyonce singing Ave Maria with that green background, that white dress. I don't know what was going on. Y'all remember that BT Awards? That's when the BT Awards was like extra fun, right? When everybody used to come out like Beyonce. But yeah, this was, I'm like, did we ask for this? Did we need this? Whatever, right? Well, the Michael Jackson estate, they don't play. They will let him be a holographic before they let him have a tribute. I don't know. But it's been rare for Michael Jackson ever since Leaving Neverland. Let's keep it 100. That Leaving Neverland documentary, as much as people want to call it flawed, it has definitely put a dent in Michael Jackson's reputation, his career. A lot of people, Michael is not necessarily like a go-to, we got to run this, we got to do this. It's just not hitting the same anymore, which is rightfully so. We know something was going on at Neverland Ranch. We may not know every detail, but something was going on over there. That's how I feel. You don't like it, you don't like me, fine. I'm just thinking about that black boy who went away. Okay, I'm thinking about that black child who they paid off to just go away. Okay? Something was going on at Neverland. Okay? Some of these other kids, whatever. But stop acting like it was just white kids. Because there was a young black boy who got a settlement and disappeared. Okay? So I know a lot of people like to racialize these things. And in some cases, race does impact the story. And it will always do. But in this situation, I think a lot of times people like to brush it off. It reminds me when Nicki Minaj, with her husband Kenneth Petty, was trying to act like Jennifer Hugh was white, and she was not, and tried to play into that trope. So there are people that will weaponize and manipulate racial animosity to try to cover their asses. Sometimes, motherfuckers, 2 things can be true at the same time, and that can be that that individuals can be predators and can be convicted sexual predators. In this situation, Kenneth Petty is a registered sex offender. That's just what it is. That's what he does. The law. The courts found him accountable. I believe that woman. I believe Jennifer. And so did others. So when I look at this Michael Jackson situation, Dick Clark Productions decided not to do it because I think the state had an issue with just running it. I think they didn't want to do it. There's probably some money things. Who knows? But it got cut. Rather than that be the context of the story, everybody was just rallying against the fact that Chris Brown got taken off, and the whole narrative was like, oh, Chris Brown, so this, Chris Brown is this, Chris Brown is that. Ooh, Rihanna. Let me tell y'all something. it appears that there was before we get into the other drama, it appears that there was an issue with the state with this production. Not necessarily about Chris Brown, but everybody wanted to make it about Chris Brown because Chris Brown made it about himself. And so he did not go to the AMAs regardless. He was nominated for Best R&B Male Artist. He won the award. Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child, her own rights, she accepted the award on his behalf. There was some boos from the crowd. And she decided to stop everybody and thank him and give him his roses about how he's still making great R&B music. Oh, that's a lie. But, whatever. Now, Kelly Rowland's politics have not always been the best. And it appears to be not a lot of other people have been the best. Sierra has jumped up to support this man. Look at Sierra, defending trash buckets. But y'all want me to stop listening to Future. See what I'm saying? Like, she over here defending Chris Brown, but y'all tell us to drop Future. All I'm saying is, let me... Just holding you accountable, some of y'all out here. Okay? Just holding y'all accountable. So she defended him on Twitter. Apparently, I guess she was going to be in it or something like that. But she defended Chris Brown. Kelly stood 10 toes down on people learning and growing. Let's talk about that a minute. Jordan Sparks, who sung that horrific song, No Air. People like No Air. I know y'all like it. Y'all, the song is overrated. I know y'all like it, but I listened to it 10 years later. Y'all, that song is not good. I don't like it. I don't think No Air is that good, y'all. I'm sorry. Looking back, I don't know why y'all like it. I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with the song. I think Jordan Sparks is good. I think her vocals were great. But I just feel like Chris Brown, what was he bringing vocally to that? I just didn't see the vocal. I did not see I think he was just super popular. Like Usher, like they were like, listen, there are better duets. They were trying to be the My Boo of our generation. It was not happening. My Boo with Alicia Keys and Usher. Now that's a duet. But this right here, No Air, Jordan was pulling the weight. Jordan Sparks was pulling the weight. Chris Brown was just the name, star power, or whatever. Like, she should have did that with Bruno Mars or something. Like, the vocals was not there on Chris Brown's part. I just was not feeling it. I think it was a lot of yelling. It was just, I don't know. I think they were just trying too much. And that music video is so cringy. What is it about Chris Brown in some Timberlands and some baggy pants with a scarf around his neck and a beanie? It had us in a chokehold in the early 2000s. It felt like everything Chris Brown was doing in the 2000s was like, it was always him with a chain, a beanie, or some waves. And he was always with some, like, he always looked like that, like, badass kid who was trying to get right for the holidays. I don't know. I just feel like there's some weird nostalgia around Chris Brown during that era. Like, it was just always him in some type of beanie, some type of sweater, some scarf, trying to be all stoic. I don't know. It's just, I just don't know. But that was an era. Chris Brown was an era for real. But Jordan Sparks defended him lately, said that people need to move on and, people need to have a chance to learn and grow. Everybody keeps talking about this, learn and grow. So let's back this up real quick, because now I'm here with the receipts. Let me bring up all the fucking receipts. I'm going to do this one time and one time only. And for all of my friends and fans and those who listen to this podcast, and y'all have had arguments with your friends back and forth about Chris Brown, use this part of the podcast to remind them. Take notes. Bring out a pen, a pad, a notebook, an iPad. I need you to, because I'm going to break down why this whole learning, growing shit is bullshit. Let's start from the very beginning. In 2009, ding, 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 Chris Brown assaulted Rihanna, okay, who was his girlfriend, okay? And in 2011, he declared that he was done apologizing for the incident, okay? Quote, people are always going to talk, but I'm in a positive place. And at the end of the day, if I walk around apologize to everybody, I'm going to look like a damn fool. That is what he told Page 6 of the New York Post, okay? That was 2 years after he attacked and brutalized Rihanna. So let's move forward, because you thought it was over, right? Because everybody keeps talking about the Rihanna situation. Oh no, baby, there was more. There was more. In February of 2012, 24-year-old Crystal Shanae Spahn filed a police report against Chris Brown for snatching her phone from her hands through a car window. And then he drove off with her phone after he noticed she was taking pictures of him. June 2013, a year after that, Another 24-year-old woman filed a police report accusing Chris Brown of assaulting her at a nightclub. Her name was Deanna Gines, and she claimed that Brown shoved her to the ground so hard that she needed surgery for the torn ligaments in her right knee. Later that year, November 2013, Chris Brown was booted from rehab for smashing his mother's car window after she suggested that he extend his treatment for anger management. Yes, his own mother smashed her car in November of 2013. Oh, but wait, there's more. November 2014, he went on this misogynistic rant on Instagram after Adrian Ballone and Tamar Braxton criticized his tumultuous relationship with Karrueche Tran. Now, remember, I saw Karrueche Tran and them at the BET Awards earlier in 2014. It was tumultuous. It was a lot of problematic behavior happening. Oh, but then we get to 2015. Here we go again, the next year. A woman filed a third-degree assault report against Chris Brown and his entourage after she claimed she was forcibly thrown off their tour bus in Colorado for refusing to give up her phone. See, I told y'all about Chris Brown and them phones. When I went to that party with them boys, they made me give up my phone. I got my phone back, but that's what had happened. She claimed her phone was broken during the altercation. Chris Brown don't like them phones. Now, the year after that, January 26th, another one. Brazilian model Lizanne Gutierrez accused Chris Brown of punching her in the face and taking her phone. What's up with Chris Brown and these phones? While denying accusations, Chris Brown called Gutierrez a quote, old ugly bitch in a video he posted to Instagram, and he deleted it. So y'all can't see the video, but I saw that video. Here we go again, May 2016. Brown's then tour manager, Nancy Gosch, accused him of threatening her with physical assault following allegations that Brown assaulted his former manager, Mike G. She reported she was so shaken up by the incident, she fled his tour bus and she quit it immediately. What the fuck is going on in these tour buses and with these women? So even a woman who was his tour manager, another one, accused him. Okay? But just when you thought it was over, oh no, baby, it's not. Singer Kalani revealed over her Instagram post that she attempted suicide over the rumors that she cheated on Kyrie Irving. Now, in an apparent attempt to defend his good friend, Chris Brown accused Kalani of lying about her suicide attempt to garner sympathy in a string of tweets. He did a whole thread, okay, trying to gaslight Kalani over Kyrie Irving, another trash bag. You know what the trash bags always get together, okay? So this is some of the stuff he said in these tweets back in March of 2016. He said, there is no attempting suicide. Stop flexing for the gram. Doing shit for sympathy so them comments under your pics don't look so bad. I'll be the biggest piece of shit, but I'm going to ride for my homies regardless. Kyrie is probably one of the only good guys left. I don't give a fuck. The amount of followers I got and the amount of comments are the amount of fucks I give. Wow. There you go. So, again, 2017, the boy keeps it going. June 15th, a judge granted Chris Brown's ex-girlfriend, Karrueche Tran, a 5-year restraining order against Chris Brown. In court, she alleged that Brown threatened her over text and voicemails, sending messages such as, quote, bitch, I will beat the shit out of you. I promise I will make your life hell. She also alleged that Chris Brown punched her in the stomach twice, pushed her down the stairs, and told several people that he was going to kill her. These alleged incidents would probably have occurred while he was still on probation for assaulting Rihanna in 2009. Now, this is in 2017, y'all. Okay, 5 years ago. But wait, there's more. Chris Brown, his bodyguard, and another alleged accomplice was arrested in Paris after a 24-year-old woman filed a report of aggravated rape. That was the allegation back in 2019 in January. So that is what happened in 2019, in January 2019. That was literally 3 years ago before the pandemic. There's probably been more things. But these are the things that I kept score of and tally of. So now I go back to Kelly, and I go back to Sierra, and I go back to Jordan Sparks. Where was the growth and learning? I mean, I got something as soon as 3 years ago. Where's the growth and learning? all these years move on? It was just one incident? No, there were several. This man is disgusting. In addition to his homophobia, in addition to his damaging property, that's only allegations around abusing women. I didn't even get into his destructive behavior outside of that, okay? The affiliations with gangs. This man is trash. But y'all still like him though. And y'all will keep playing the same songs over and over and over again. But I'm just here to tell you all that we see it, okay? And when you hear people like me say I'm done with Chris Brown, understand that it was not just about Rihanna. It's the fact that he continued to, over the years, he has built a career, a decade, from 2009 to 2019, for the past 10 years and counting. Since that incident, he has consistently, almost every year, been in some shit. From smashing his mother's car to damaging property, to threatening to assault his former female tour manager, his ex-girlfriend got a restraining order. Like, this dude been doing shit. To women. He's a coward. So I don't have no respect for Chris Brown. Miss me with the change shit. Stop making excuses. Loyal was a cool song, but I ain't loyal to him. Fuck him and fuck what he stands for. Next case. So Atlantic Records. There's been speculation that Atlantic Records has been juicing their numbers. Allegedly. There's been allegations that if you go on some of these Atlantic Records artists, that apparently there's been bots that has been replacing humans on juicing up the streaming views. I just really think that you should be more mindful about how you put out information, about yourselves and your artists, It's been really interesting seeing some of the numbers and all of the allegations. And I say this because I'm looking at some of the numbers now. They've been trying to say this is not true, but it's been weird because apparently the allegation is they've been allegedly botting all of the new artists' videos, including Lil Uzi Vert, Roddy Ricch, A Boogie, and Don Toliver. Like, when you look at those YouTube videos, there's some weird stuff being said that apparently there's bots putting these fake comments under the stuff, and it's been going out there. Rumors too that predicted that Atlantic Records will buy Burna Boy a Grammy, and now they're known as the biggest fraud in the music industry. And now apparently there's allegation that they buy streams for their artists and give them peanuts afterwards. That's the allegation, Now Atlantic Records has denied cooking the books for their artists, saying they never use bots for any of their artists. But there's a lot of allegations of streaming and fraud scandals. The company should have been being talked about for a while now, because there's been a lot of payola allegations about these artists' success. People try to say the same thing about Cardi B's success was connected to Atlantic Records. But all I will say is that, I don't necessarily want to say that, I don't want to say that there's a lot to unpack here. I don't want to say that the industry is scamming people. What I will say is this. That eventually, when it comes to tours, that if you're a real artist and you sell tickets at your tour, if your tour tickets sell, you have a real fan base. You can only gas up numbers so much, but it's about the overall longevity of an artist. I used to always wonder, I guess that there is a core loyal fan base of people that like John Legend. I like John Legend. I mean, I had him as a wedding song, but I always felt like John Legend across the board, his music is just kind of in this universe that just kind of stays and never really evolves or moves. but he has a loyal fan base, right? People still buy his music, I guess. People still go up for him and see him in concert. Like there's a fan base that likes him, right? You know, we look at some of these other artists, the Brian McKnights of the world. They still have loyal fan base. Those are people that really love their music and really rock with them, right? You know, Shaka Khan, I just saw her had a sold out show at the Kimmel Center, and thought she was dope, thought she was great. People love Shaka. There are artists out now. I feel like they're never going to have that. Like it's all manufactured. I mean, if you look at the baby, right? The baby was like the was a hot thing for a moment, according to what we saw in sales. But now this man is doing 2-for-1 concerts, can't even fill out arena. And I would love to believe that, you know, people took a stand against homophobia, but I know that that isn't it. I think that what happened was is that he lost a lot of commercial support. Well, I mean, to a certain extent, the endorsers and the brands that was pushing him disassociate themselves from him, so the hype around him faded. All of those played big factors in how people perceived him down the road, which I think is a legitimate critique. So there was something done, but I also think that his music just ain't that good. He wasn't really, I mean, it just wasn't good. He had a moment, but then the moment kind of went, right? So that's where I'm at with it. I think that Atlantic, allegedly, right, these artists, these labels, they try to build the hype around an artist, and it does build in the beginning, but it's up to that artist to maintain it after that. And some of these artists cannot. Like, you know, Katy Perry, I think, was a byproduct of payola. Like, Katy Perry, they forced Katy Perry on us. They forced those songs on the radio. Like, I remember there was a time where you couldn't listen to a Katy Perry song. You could not listen to a Katy Perry song on the radio. Okay, but then now we don't want to hear anything from Katy Perry. Like, nobody wants anything from Katy Perry. Her last album flopped. You didn't even know she had a new album. A new album came out like I think a year ago or something like that, so, or maybe a year before that. Nobody cared. Y'all don't even know what the last album was called or any lead single. Her last big hoo-rah was Witness, which was like even further back. And she had another album after that, and you all probably never heard of it, and never will. Like, no one's here for Katy Perry. Katy can like let it rap. It's a rap. She had a moment. She made it to the Super Bowl. The grift is over. Like, Katy Perry, Katy Cats, that shit is done. It's done so. I remember at one point in time, people thought there was a real beef or feud between her and Lady Gaga. Like, her and Lady Gaga were both like in the same. Like, Katy knew how to make manufactured radio pop hits. She played the role. It was a moment. And then, of course, people move on. It goes for the next thing, the next artist that can fulfill that gap. Like a Olivia Rodrigo, she's filling that gap right now. Like, real star power is people like Taylor Swift, right? People like Beyonce, right? Rihanna, right? People really want Rihanna music. People want Rihanna music. People are like, Rihanna, where's the music? Like, they want that, you know? We're not asking for Katy Perry. I don't know anybody who wants Katy Perry music right now. Or ever. It was a moment, you know, she'll be like a Cyndi Lauper, like, of that era. Like, it was, we was banging it, and then, you know, we moved on. So, that's that. So, in movies, I watched Disenchanted, okay, with Amy Adams, because, you know, I'm a big Amy Adams fan. It was cute. I have to remind myself, and this is what I've had to tell myself, Disney Plus sequels are going to be like a little bit elevated Disney Channel sequels of original films. If you put your expectations on that, you'll be okay with it. Amy Adams is great in the role. I actually went and watched Enchanted, then I went watched Disenchanted. And I fell in love with Enchanted again. I realized, wow, that was really a great film. I haven't seen a live action musical Disney film that good in a while. That was really good. I really, really liked it a lot. The new musical, it's cool. It's a cool film. It does what it needs to do. But you have to brace yourself that it is a Disney Plus version, right? Which I'm just happy that Disney Plus is still relevant. I thought that the Hamilton thing, the moment when they dropped Hamilton, I remember all that was going to fade. But people really do like Disney Plus. I love it, actually. I just like going back and watching old Disney movies. I never get enough of that. Like, I watched The Parent Trap the other day. I watched a Lizzie McGuire movie because that's just like a period of my life that I look back at and just remember that where I was and how I felt then. It just takes me there. Lizzie McGuire movie was so good, y'all. Lizzie McGuire's show was good, y'all. I'm just, you know, Hillary Duff can never do any wrong. You see that the good white people, Okay, Hillary Duff is good white people. Who does not like Hillary Duff? Like, who has a problem with Hillary Duff? Who got smoke with Duff? Nobody got anything with my girl Duff. She decent woman. Like her. And she's still doing her thing. Sweetheart. So I did catch up on my TV. Okay, I did use this Thanksgiving break to catch up on TV. I watched the final season of Atlanta from beginning to end. I binged it. It's only like these episodes are like only like 30 minutes. And I was really big on skipping commercials so I can really like, maximize that time. Loved it. Loved it. It was a great season. It was better than season 3. I liked it better season 3. They did switch to white gays because season 3, they go to Europe. Now they're back in Atlanta. It's the series. The series finale was good. The season ended really well. I liked it. They tied some things up. There was some really fun episodes. There was 2 really ones that stood out to me. There was one that's on a riff on Tyler Perry. Won't get into details about it. And then there's this funny like documentary thing they did, which is always like this Afrofuturism thing that he likes to do, or surrealism, that Donald Glover does, where he took this episode, turned into a mockumentary, but it looked like a real documentary with real journalists. Like they had this girl I love named Jenna, who is on the podcast Still Processing. That Jenna Wortham, which I met her in person. She's a sweet woman. She's at the New York Times. Black woman, great voice, everything. She was in this, made a little cameo. Maybe I'm telling this episode too much. I won't tell it all, but it just was that. Just envision a black CEO of Disney, what that would be like. That's all I will tell you. And they talk about the blackest movie of film of all time, which in retrospect, they make a good case for why this film is a great movie. I won't get into it, but it's an incredible episode. You can really watch the episode by itself, but it was great. Also, I caught up on Queen Sugar. I've watched all of the season, the finale, the series finale of Queen Sugar, the final episode, season 6, the finale, series finale is this week. But I've caught up, and woo, I'm so happy that I watched the show like in one strand, because I would have been emotionally annoyed each week because it was good. This season was good. I don't know what anybody was talking about. If you have not caught up with Queen Sugar, I get it. Some people are not loyal to shows. I'm loyal to shows. Once I'm into a show, I cannot not watch it. I'm loyal. I've watched every episode of Queen Sugar that's come out. I've watched every episode of Atlanta. So now I can be able to like rest those shows. It's time for new shows. So I've also been watching The Crown, this new season. I'm taking my time with it. It's the good thing about The Crown is it's like all the episodes are out, but I just couldn't binge like 3 series like this week. I had to do some other things, but I am halfway done with The Crown. I'm going to probably finish it by the time we talk for the next podcast. But I did enjoy it. I thought it was a really, really, really good episode. Really good episodes. They're still on Princess Diana, but this time she's older, so we're not in the thick of the drama. Like the previous season 4 was about them meeting and dating, and we knew about Camille and all that. Now we're at it where the gloves are off. We're at the part where Princess Diana is talking to the media and she's telling the tea. Like, it's getting really, really good. And then also they have a new queen. So the previous queen was it was Claire Foyle at one point. And then the next queen who just happened, and she was really good. She was in The Favorite, and I really love her. I'm thinking about her. She won the Emmy a year ago. But I'm going to tell you who she is. Olivia Colman. Yes, Olivia Colman. She was phenomenal. So Claire Foy won Best Actress. Olivia Colman won. Now there's a new woman playing her. I believe her name is Elizabeth Debicki. She's not a very, very famous actress in the United States, but she's playing Princess Diana this season. Imelda Stanton, who is known for the Harry Potter films and a very good film called Vera Drake. But if you haven't seen it, you should go see it. She was incredible in that. She's a great British actress. She's now playing Queen Elizabeth. I like her Queen Elizabeth. Her Queen Elizabeth is the one that I feel like I'm the most familiar with. Like, I'm not familiar with the younger one when she had brown hair. I'm always looking at this older woman. So Imelda Stanton is playing, I guess, the Queen Elizabeth I would have known when I was young, because I was born 91. And so we're at, I think, 92 right now at one of the Jubilees. But It is good. I've been enjoying it. Last season, everybody thought Emma Corrin, who played Princess Diana the first time around, younger Princess Diana, was going to win that Emmy, and she was close, but she didn't win. Olivia Colman took it again. Now, this new Princess Diana, she is stunning. She looks just like Princess Diana. She is killing it. And Dominic West is now playing um Prince Charles. So that's having a moment within itself. It's some good acting. It's some good acting. There's some interesting things being talked about in this season. Um, Knowing that what we know now, the Queen has passed. It's interesting to see the acting dynamics and things shift. Also, there's another great actress who is in The Crown this season, and I really, really, really like her. Um, she's replacing um Helena Bonham Carter and doing her own thing, which I'm super excited about um this season. And she was in Phantom Thread, and her name is Leslie Manville. Leslie Manville is playing Princess Margaret this season, and she is doing a good job so far. Loving it. I feel like The Crown's gonna get the Emmy next year for Best Drama. I'm just saying it now. I don't think Succession season is coming out. Succession just won the Emmy. So I don't think Succession is coming out in this Emmy consideration period. I think they could come out the following one. So I just feel like for the next couple years, well, after season 6 of The Crown, because there is going to be a season 6, y'all. They said it was gonna be only 5, but they're gonna do one more. But they said it's still not gonna bring us up to speed. It's gonna end in the early 2000s, right when Kate Middleton and Prince William meet. Kate Middleton, as you know, is the wife of what's soon to be the next king, okay? King Charles. King William. It will be King William, right? Um, Not Harry, because Harry has, separated himself. But it's a lot going on right now between that royal family. But I really, really have been enjoying this show. Um, what else is going on? I'm looking forward to Love and Hip Hop Family Reunion. It kicks off this week. I love my dirty TV, but I can't get enough of it. Love it down. Good TV. Um, Mama Jones is coming back. Jim Jones' mother and Christy. I wonder if they're gonna patch things out after all these years. To be quite honest, I don't even know. Is Jim and Chrissy married? I don't think they are. He been playing her face. I mean, I never forgave them when she got her knees and she proposed to him. Not that I'm saying that women cannot propose. I'm just saying, girl, that man, child, I cannot. But there's that. Now, as far as books go and wrapping everything up, I listened to The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama. Was fascinated by it. Loved this. Okay, so Becoming was great, but I feel like this is the real, like, this book is like, she doesn't play any games. Can I just say that it's been interesting that the hype around Michelle Obama's books have been higher than that of Obama's. Obama's Promised Land book came out. It kind of went. It sold well. It was good, the first volume, but I want the second one to hurry up and come out. But it just seemed like Michelle just has more buzz around her books. I don't know, but Coming was just everything. Um, I read Obama's book. It was cool. But I guess maybe because we've seen so much of him and Michelle, we're learning more about the forever First Lady. But The Light We Carry is beautiful. It is well done. I feel like she's in her groove. Like, Becoming was really good. But this was just kind of like, she just like, I'm saying what I want to say. I mean, she talks about Trump. She talks about how she felt about him replacing, succeeding her husband in the presidency. She is pure form. And what a great audiobook it is, too. Well, she just went really viral on Instagram. I had to share on my page because I really appreciate what she said here. And it's caused a lot of debate. But I want to leave the podcast with this to consider. So this is what she said on Instagram. As an adult, I've lived in a number of places, but as far as I'm concerned, I've only ever had one real home. My home is my family. My home is Barack. But here's the thing. Our marriage has never been perfectly 50-50. One of us is always needing more or giving more. We have to be willing to listen to each other, honestly and without defensiveness. Only then can we evolve together. Over the years, a lot of young people have asked me about marriage. And my response usually goes something like this: you have to prepare yourself for long stretches of discord and discomfort. You have to learn how to make real compromises in the way you've lived as an individual. Glamorizing a relationship while you're dating will lead you straight to difficulty once you're married. You can't paper over problems when you're living with someone day in and day out. So if you got to ask yourself, what are you trying to get out of this relationship? Have you truly thought it through? Do you want a wedding or do you want a lifelong partnership? Those are two very different things. Together, you are answering the question, who are we and who do we want to be? Listen, to the people out there who did not understand what she was saying, it's okay. Sometimes it's important to just take a step back and listen. There was a lot of single, unmarried, unhinged, ashy people on Twitter and online talking about, oh, Michelle was saying her marriage is miserable. She's saying her life was miserable, y'all, or she was this or she was that. You don't listen because you've never been married. And maybe you've never been in a serious relationship. And maybe you're just projecting your thoughts. Sometimes it's okay to just shut the fuck up when married people are talking about their experiences. And maybe sometimes it's okay to just listen. Like, I listen to people talk about parenting. I don't have a child. I'm not saying that everything a person says about it, I'm going to agree with all the way. But then again, it's important to just listen to people's experiences because from there comes experience, right? The difference between intelligence and wisdom, right? Wisdom is intelligence with time and age. It ages and it gets better. Intelligence is just knowing something and being smart at the moment. I evolve from intelligence and wisdom on things every day. There are things I'm wise about and there's things I'm intelligent about. Marriage is something that I am intelligent about, but I'm working on being wise about, but it takes time. Michelle has been married for many years. She has had very experiences that are similar to that of myself and my husband. That being said, that comes with time. The words that she has said in this is different than what she would have said probably 20 years ago before she's been married for 25, 30 years. It would have been very different. But that's what it means to be wise. And I think the reason why people were feeling some type of way because a hit dog was hollering for some of these folks that heard what she said. And I agree with it. There are some people out here that should not be married at the moment, or they shouldn't be getting married, or they're getting married for the wrong reasons. I've seen people who want a wedding, but I don't know if they want a marriage. I've seen people see things that I have, or see things that other people have had, and compare themselves, or think that because they have this, then they need to have this, or this person can't do this before they do this, and this, that, and the third. I've seen a lot of people doing things based on the aesthetic of things. And that's why it don't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me to pretend, to be fake, to see and dignify relationships that don't be. Because I know that there are certain people in relationships that they shouldn't be in. They're in them because they're bored. They're in them because they're lazy. They're in them because it's convenient, right? And some people don't want to be alone, and I get that. But there's also people that go for getting married because they see someone else doing it. Baby, don't try this at home. I'm with somebody that I've known for so many years. I'm with somebody that I've been in love with for nearly a decade. I'm with somebody that I've had nothing with and built something with. Like, I've had lots of experiences. I did not arrive at this decision based off of the pressures of anyone around me. People who was asking for the past 3-4 years before, ooh, y'all think about marriage on our own pace? And then, of course, people ask about the kids thing. And I tell people, listen, whenever I feel like it, that's the answer. But people ask those questions all the time. They say, oh, you ever think about having kids? They love asking gay people that question. They know I guess they've realized that they can't ask cishet people that or anymore. They try not to anymore because, the politics around it. So now they love finding any gay couple to ask because they want to know, are you homosexual just going to just, have all these tax write-off and benefits? Y'all not going to have no kids? Or they just feel like the marriage becomes legitimate because we're raising kids. I don't know. The homophobia be coming out of some of y'all's mouths. Y'all be telling yourselves, you better check yourselves. I done heard a lot. But I say all this to say that every marriage you're supposed to be working to see a future for yourself with the person involved in the picture. I hate this whole culture of acting single, is what I say, where people are in marriages where they feel like they have to do everything by themselves, and then they with the person and they want to feel like they could be needed because it's codependency. A marriage is a codependency by marriage, right? But the reality is that it's about really finding the things that make you great and then make the other person great. And you're building each other, because it's great to do it to do it with support. I love the fact that I'm able to live a better life with another person. I think if I did it all by myself, could I do it by myself? Absolutely. But it'd be harder. I ain't gonna hold you. It'd be harder. I'll be more lonely. I would be, in a different space on various emotional levels. I think being in a marriage, being where I'm at now, puts me in a position where it's taught me how to be more compassionate, not just in my relationship, but out externally. I've learned things in my relationship that has shaped the way that I do things in my professional life. And you have someone that you can trust and that is there for you and that loves you and that's like going to be with you for the rest of your life. Nothing, I get there's cynics and critics of marriage, and I get it. But I also feel like it's one of those things that, like, if given the opportunity and the chance, why not? I mean, that's where I was. That's where I'm at. That's how I'm today. So this was a great podcast. Wow, we talked for a minute. But so much is going on. We're about to kick off December. December is coming in. We're about to, wrap up the final episodes of this season. And, as always, be well and be best. Ernestly Speaking is recorded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. To stay up to date with the latest on the show, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Mr. Ernest Owens. Use the hashtag Ernestly Speaking to tell me what you thought about this episode, and check out my website at ernestowens.com.